Hello everyone, if you're new to my channel, consider liking and subscribing. It will make me feel wonderful if you do that. Thanks. By the way, I also have another Naruto and Luffy fanfiction channel. If you are interested, link is in the description.
The Straw Hat's Red Devil, Sky Island Saga, Number 3, by DeadGirlEtarnal. She's the daughter of red-haired Shanks. She was dropped off to live with Luffy. She met Ace and Sabo, but when Sabo died, it was the last for her, as she vows to take revenge. Years later, she leaves the island and sets on adventures of her own. She soon meets up with her baby brother and travels with him, finding love in more than one place. Adios.
Dakota's Pav. Demon. Nami attacks me in a hug. I yelp in pain at the sudden pain coming from my right side. Oops, sorry. It's fine, how's everyone else? I ask them. We're doing fine, we're just waiting on Luffy now. Sanji tells me as he walks over, and I look over to my right to see my baby brother lying in bed next to me. Don't worry, he'll be okay. Chopper assures me as he walks over, and I nod. That's good, I reply. You had us worried, Zoro tells me, and I look at him as he caresses my cheek, and I can't help but lean into his touch. Leave her alone, you damn mosshead. Sanji snaps at the swordsman, pushing him away. Shut up you damn fancy eyebrows. Zoro snaps, pushing him back, and they begin fighting, throwing punches and kicks at one another. Morons, Nami grumbles, but I can't help but smile. I'm glad everyone is safe. Quit it, she snaps at them, punching them to the floor. Ah! Nami! Chopper cries out as he panics at their fallen form, and I can't help the laugh that escapes, and soon the others join in. One Piece. Alabasta arc. It's been 3 days since the battle. I sit on the roof of the palace as I wait for Sanji and Usopp to return from shopping for supplies and clothes. I see them walking up the steps past the Marines and Chaka. I jump down, swinging into one of the windows, spooking one of the guards as I run to catch up with the boys. One Piece. Alabasta arc. Finally, I get out of those dreary clothes and into something much more my style, a leather jacket, maroon jeans, a black sleeve white top and black boots, and my father's hat I borrowed from Luffy. I walk back into the medical ward to see Luffy sitting in bed, and it won't be breakfast. It's early evening right now, Sanji tells him. Dakota has your hat, Usopp tells him as I close the door. A soldier found it for you in front of the palace, I tell him and take off the straw hat, holding it out to him, and he stretches his arms out, taking it out of my hands and putting it back on his head. Oh, good, he beams, looking up at his hat. I'm glad you got well, Luffy, Vivi tells him with a smile as she sits next to his bed. Got well? I've always been well, he replies, not understanding. You dummy. You were in serious condition with a high fever and stuff. Vivi and Chopper attended you all this time. Nami snaps at him as she sits on her bed and sorts the books she got from the royal library. Really, thanks, he says to the two of them, and the door opens again. Oh, hey, Luffy. You woke up? Zoro says as he walks in. Hey, Zoro. Long time no see, Luffy questions his own words, a little confused. Ah, hey. Chopper yells at the swordsman who isn't wearing his bandages again. You went out training again, didn't you? He rushes over to him as Zoro pours himself a glass of water. What? It's my business, right? Zoro asks the doctor. No means, no, I'm the ship doctor, and don't take off the bandages, either, Chopper snaps at him. It's hard to move with them, he argues. Don't move, Chopper exclaims, and I walk over, picking up the poor reindeer. Go? You don't have your bandages either. What? They must have fallen off, I fake a gasp. Stop taking them off, both of you, he orders us. Long time no see, Luffy keeps repeating, tilting his head from side to side. Well, it's probably natural to feel that way, since you slept for 3 days, Usopp informs him as he sits on the green couch by the door. 3 days? Did I sleep for 3 whole days? Luffy exclaims in disbelief. Yep. We confirm again. I missed 15 meals, Luffy gasps, and I shake my head at him. How come you can calculate so quickly when it comes to food? Nami asks him, putting her hands on her hip. On top of that, in his calculations, there are 5 meals a day, Usopp snaps, and I grin. It is Luffy. I point out when the doors suddenly slam open, revealing a woman. "Did I hear right that the captain is up?" she asks, and a cart of fruits comes rolling in. "It'll be dinner time soon, so would you wait a little?" Wah! Zoro gapes at the woman, who looks like a female version of Igaram. "Oh hey, old tube hair guy, you're alive?" Luffy asks her. So you really were into that sort of thing," Zoro stutters. "No, everyone, she's Terracotta. She's Igaram's wife and is also the head of the palace servers." Vivi corrects them. "Thanks for helping Vivi and my husband," she says, and I tilt my head to the side in confusion. "I thought they were siblings," I mumble. "No way, a wife could resemble her husband, but this is too much," Zoro mutters, and I look at him. "I hope not," I whisper in his ear, making him shiver. "I heard you eat a lot. Would you have some fruit to hold you over until dinner time?" she asks and points to the cart of fruit by Luffy's bed. "Okay." He agrees and swallows the whole lot. "You pig," the boys snap at Luffy. "Lady, I'm gonna eat 3 days worth of food," Luffy informs her. "Look forward to it. I've devoted my past 30 years to the job of serving. I won't lose against a youngster's stomach, so eat to your heart's content," she tells us. One Piece. Alabasta arc. We all sit at the dining room table and dig into the feast laid out before us. Luffy eating with gusto since he hasn't eaten in 3 days and the rest of us aren't any better, and I drink 2 behind Chopper's back as I sit between Usopp and Zoro. "Eat quick, or it'll be gone," Zoro yells as Luffy stretches his arms out, picking up Zoro and Usopp's food before stuffing his face. "Hey, Luffy. You just took the food from my plate, didn't you?" Usopp demands, though Luffy shakes his head, denying the claim. "You liar," Nami snaps, punching him in his inflated cheek, making him spit some food out. Hey, if you eat in a hurry like that, you'll," Sanji warns Chopper as he shovels in the pasta dish. "We've got a lot, so," Vivi tells us, offering more food as more servers arrive with new dishes. "Well then, wait and see, Luffy. I'll put the Tabasco star on this," Usopp mutters to himself as he places the hot sauce on the rice ball on his plate, and as predicted, Luffy grabs it, stuffing it into his mouth before fanning his burning mouth. I giggle, as does Usopp, who shrieks, and I see Eyelash joining us at the table between Usopp and Karoo. "Hey, when did you? What do you call that dish?" Sanji asks the server as he places another dish down. "This is called kanafa. You bake noodles in the oven and," he begins telling him. "Delicious," I beam as I chew on one of the dishes. "Now, here's more." The servers put more food on the table, and Luffy continues to stuff his face, and he tries to talk to King Cobra. Well. We can talk after the dinner," Cobra tells him politely, and Luffy quickly stuffs his face. "Can I have another mug full?" Zoro demands, and I raise my mug after finishing off the wine. "Me too," I yell. "Hey, we need some water here," Sanji announces as he raises his hand in the air, and Chopper chokes. I skid my drink down towards them, and Chopper grabs it, drinking down the alcohol. "That's not water," Chopper snaps once he stops choking. "A thank you would be nice." I snap back at him, making Vivi laugh, and soon we finish off all of the food. Usopp and Chopper jump onto the table, dancing around, and Luffy, now completely full, joins them, rolling around. I can't help laughing as I watch them, and everyone is enjoying themselves, even the guards, as we enjoy our night, and soon it ends with us heading to the royal baths. One Piece. Alabasta arc. I sigh into the hot water as Vivi and Nami sit outside, cleaning each other. I tie my hair into a bun as I lean against the side by the girls as we talk. "This feels good. I wonder if a ship with a big bath like this exists," Nami ponders. "I'm sure it does since the sea is so vast." Vivi agrees. "We saw giants, we saw dinosaurs, we also saw cherry blossoms bloom in a winter land. There are more and more things in the sea that are beyond our imagination," and she catches herself. "Well. It's my turn," Nami says, and I look over to see all the men, minus Chopper and Zoro, peeping over the divider. "Hey, what are you all doing?" I snap at them, gaining the girls' attention. "Those idiots," Nami mutters. "It'll be 100,000 berries per person, okay?" she tells them as she stands. "Nami, don't," I tell her and stand out of the water, pulling my hair out and letting it flow down my back as I put my hands on my hips. "Audie boys." I wink, making them fall back onto the ground. Hey, I've never noticed that tattoo before. Nami remarks as she points to the tattoo on my left side over my ribs. Oh, this? I got it years ago. I tell her as I show off the watercolor compass as a tribute to Sabo's memory and plan to add more for Ace and Luffy on the next habited island. I see, do your tattoos have meaning? Vivi asks as they join me in the water. Well, the roses were my mother's favorite considering they never bloomed on Furka's island, and Dad used to give them to her every chance he got. I tell her as I touch my right shoulder, and she smiles. That's so sweet. She beams. Yeah, the stars are for my brothers. I point to them, but she doesn't seem to understand why there are 3. She probably thinks I also mean me. And the compass is for a fallen loved one. I see. That's sweet of you, demon. Never took you for the sentimental type. Nami jokes and laughs, and I join in, but Vivi seems deep in thought. You can't make up your mind, can you? I ask Vivi, snapping her out of her thoughts. What? Vivi asks. I'm thinking that we might want to leave here tonight, Nami tells her, which is news to me. What? Really? Vivi exclaims. Because we no longer have a reason to stay here, right? The Marines are probably at the harbor, ready to capture us. Our ship will be in danger soon. Nami points out, and we sit silently for a moment before leaving. One Piece. ALABASTA arc. We all get changed as we sit around the medical ward when Nami springs her idea on the boys. Tonight, Usopp repeats. That's right, Nami confirms. Leaving here? Chopper asks. Well, I think it's appropriate, too, since we no longer have a reason to stay here. Zoro agrees, and I shiver as that is what Nami said as I sit leaning against the bed by his feet and Chopper. Yeah, I'm also worried about the Marines' actions, Sanji adds. Okay, then. You decide, Luffy. I tell him. Okay. We'll leave after we have some more alabasta dishes again. Luffy decides, thinking about his stomach. We're leaving right away, idiot. Usopp snaps at him, bonking him on the head. Idiot. You didn't have to hit me. Luffy whines as he cradles his head when a soldier comes into the room, holding a transponder snail. There's a transponder snail communication for you, he announces. Transponder snail communication? From who? Nami asks him. From someone named Bon. He answers. Bon? Who's that? Sanji asks him. No one knows him, but he insists he's your friend, so, he replies. Our friend? I question as Sanji gets up and answers. Hello? Hi there, it's me. Me. The voice laughs, and Sanji hangs up, but it starts ringing again. What? Shut up. Sanji snaps at the ringing transponder snail, but Luffy grabs it and answers. Hey, it's you, huh? What do you want from us? Luffy demands. Oh, that voice must be Straw Hat, right? You're strong. I was so surprised. Oh, yeah, don't call me Mr. 2. If this signal is caught by the Marines, I'll be in trouble. Mr. 2 warns us. You just said it yourself. Chopper exclaims. Just tell us what you want, Zoro demands from the male ballerina. Oh, yeah, I took your ship. He announces. That's not funny, we snap at him. You son of a bitch. This isn't a joking matter. Where are you now? Usopp asks him, pointing at the transponder snail. On your ship. He answers as if that helps. Of all others, Sanji grits his teeth in anger. No, gee, we're friends, right? He laughs and tells us where he is on our ship. He's at the upper reaches of the Sandora River, Luffy confirms. Can we trust him? Sanji asks our captain. We became friends one time, but, Luffy muses. In your case, you may be able to make friends with him again, which is scary, Zoro mutters. But we have no choice but to go, Chopper points out. He's right. He has our ship. I agree with the reindeer. If he tries to trick us, then we'll just beat him up. Now that it's decided, let's get ready quickly, Zoro announces. Okay. Let's hurry. If we don't get there quickly, our ship will. Usopp panics for the going merry, and we all start to grab our things. Say, everyone, Vivi says, gaining our attention. Say, everyone, what should I do? She asks us. Listen well, Vivi. We'll give you 12 hours. Once we take our ship back on the Sandora River, we'll draw the ship near the eastern harbor just once at exactly noon tomorrow. We probably won't be able to anchor. If you want to continue traveling with us, that moment is the only chance to come aboard. If that happens, we'll welcome you. though you'll become a pirate. Nami tells her, and she nods, and I carefully leave a note and present for Vivi, knowing she won't go with us, though I know she'll make a fantastic princess. Sanji ties the rope around the bedpost before opening the window and throwing the rope down for us to sneak down to avoid everyone within the palace. Since you're a princess of a country, this is the best we can do to invite you, Sanji tells her as he leans out the window. Come, Vivi. Definitely come. Come now. Luffy cheers as if she's made her mind up. Stop it, Luffy, I warn him. Let's go, Zoro orders him. Why don't you want her to come? Luffy asks his first mate. That's not the point. It's something Vivi has to decide. Usopp points out, and we drop down, heading off. One Piece. Alabasta arc. We ride on the supersonic duck squadron as we head for the Sandora River. I yawn wanting to sleep as we ride, though Luffy still isn't full as he chews on a leg of meat. This is nice. He compliments as he eats. So this is finally farewell to the Sand Kingdom. Hey, Luffy, when are you gonna stop eating? Usopp asks him. When he's dead, I answer him. The alabasta dishes are great. Sanji, make them sometime, Luffy suggests to the cook. Yeah, I was interested, too. I got some recipes from Terracotta. Some spices, too, Sanji tells him. Nami, are you feeling sick? Chopper asks the navigator, who looks a little glum. Nami, do you want one piece of meat? Just one piece, though, Luffy offers her. Nami, you're thinking about Vivi, right? Sanji asks her. I understand how you're feeling, but thinking doesn't get you anywhere. Yeah, I know, you two were really close, but hey, chin up. For Vivi's sake, I'm willing to give up. On the 1 billion berries, she tells us, and we all exclaim in shock at her. Of course, you should. So it was about money? Nami? We all shout at her, and Usopp falls off his duck. Usopp fell. Chopper shouts, alerting the others. Nami, don't act misleading, Zoro snaps at her. What are you guys worked up about? If it's about Vivi, it's no use worrying about it, right? She asks. Hey, Usopp fell. Chopper shouts over her. Leave him be, Nami replies. It was your fault. We snap at her. One Piece. Alabasta arc. We make it to the Sandora River's upper reaches to see the Going Merry with Mr. 2 standing on the crow's nest as he greets us. I've been waiting, you guys. Long time no see. We're here, Zoro announces as we ignore the male ballerina as we get off the ducks, unloading everything. Okay, unload, thanks. You guys, Sanji says. We have to say goodbye to you here. Usopp waves. I throw one of the bags into his arms, and he almost trips. Have a safe trip back, Zoro tells them as the ducks leave. Say hello to the king, the old tube hair guy and the others, Luffy shouts as they wave. Take care, Usopp shouts again. Bye-bye, hold him. I'll see you. Definitely see you again someday. Mr. 2 waves along with the others but stops. Wait a sec. What? Sanji asks him. Don't, what, me? That's not how you should treat your friends, is it? Mr. 2 hisses as he stomps his foot. What do you mean, friend? We were enemies. You lied to us, Luffy snaps at the ballerina. I didn't lie, I didn't know it, either. But you see, who cares about it anymore? Baroque works fell. We're no longer enemies, Bond points out as Zoro starts loading the bags on board. Hey, move over, Zoro orders him, and he moves away from the steps. Oh, sorry. Even if we're not enemies, why are you on our ship? Luffy demands an answer. You stupid head. Bond exclaims. What did you say? Luffy growls at him. Listen, if I wasn't on your ship now, what do you think would have happened to it? He questions. It might have been taken by the Marines. Nami points out as Sanji takes the next lot of stuff onto the ship. What? Luffy gasps. It's not might have, it definitely would have happened. Do you know what's going on around this island right now? It's completely blocked by the Marines' ships. It's blocked, Bond explains. What? Then you protected the Going Merry from the Marines? Luffy asks him as I walk onto the ship. Why? Usopp asks him. How come? Chopper asks him. Because we're friends. Bond tells them with a thumbs up and a wink. The boys jump onto the ship, dancing with the male ballerina. Do we still have stuff to load? I ask Sanji. Nope. This is the last one, Sanji announces. In other words, Mr. 2, you guys couldn't get off of the island due to the Marines' coast siege, so you wanted to find allies, isn't that right? Zoro asks him, and the boys throw him away. That's right, in a time like this, because it's a time like this. Gather, in the name of friendship. Let's unite our strength and fight together. Bon cheers. Yeah, the dummies cheer with him. Morons. I sigh, shaking my head, and his ship arrives. So, thanks in advance. Bon's men shout. You were there? Zoro snaps as we begin to sail down the river. One Piece. Alabasta arc morning rises as we reach the end of the Sandora River towards the Marine blockade. As we head for the rendezvous with Vivi, the Marines fire their cannons at us with spikes instead of cannonballs. Damn it. Shoot cannonballs. Then I could repel them. Luffy grumbles as we're hit from either side. Serious, gimme a break. Bon cries out. If we keep taking these iron spears on the ship's bottom, it'll be just a matter of time before we sink, Sanji points out, and the Marines fire again. Here come more. Nami shouts as the iron spears ram into the sides, and Chopper pops out from below deck. Hey, I can't keep plugging the holes anymore, Chopper yells. Do something, you guys. Nami snaps at us. It takes all our effort just to protect one side, Sanji argues. One ship against 8 isn't a fair fight. If this was close combat, we'd have a better chance. Whether we chase them or run away, they'll never change this formation. Zoro warns us as the Marine ships stand in pairs around us. You're not good enough to break it, idiots. You idiot? I hear someone shout from one of the Marine ships and look over to see two familiar-looking people but shrug it off. Hey, hypnotist. You're a pirate, aren't you? Luffy shouts over to them. Shut up. I have my reasons, he shouts back at Luffy. The one on the left. Where do I know him from? Sanji ponders to himself. I've finally found them. That annoying violent cook and his gang. I'll sink them here today. I powered up. The first voice vows, yeah, right. Now, stare at this ring. I'll finally prove today that I'm not a weirdo. The second voice mutters as everyone runs around, trying to fix the ship, and Usopp aims the cannon towards the vessel and fires. 1, 2, Jan. The cannonball hits the boat, smashing it to pieces as it falls onto the next one. Brother. The second ship falls into the water. Whoa, Usopp mutters to himself, just as surprised. Usopp, did you do that? Amazing, Luffy beams at the shocked sniper. Oh, okay. T was just as I calculated. That's what happens to ships once I'm on the job. Usopp plays it off. Nosy, that was amazing. Good job. Bon congratulates him. The ships in the south sank. Now we can break through there in one shot. Bon Clay. There's trouble, one of his men shouts. What is it? Bon shouts back as the ship sails to our right. The Black Cage is here, he announces, and I groan loudly at the nickname. Oh, no, Bon shrieks. What's going on? Luffy asks him. It's Black Cage, Hina. She's a captain at Marine headquarters, and this area is under her jurisdiction. She's a real pain. We'll hurry up and fly the coop, Bon explains. Yes, sir. Bon Clay, his men shout in agreement. What are you guys doing? We have to run. If we pass through that point in the south, we'll be able to escape with minimum damage. If we don't change course, they'll take us down for sure, Bon exclaims as we refuse to move. If you want to go, then go. We can't, Luffy tells him. You can't? Why? Bon shrieks at him. Bon Clay, please hurry, let's get out of here ourselves. His men shout to the male ballerina. Noon at the Eastern Harbor, we have an appointment, Nami tells him. We don't have time to go around, so we had to dash through. Ah, that's ludicrous. Is there some treasure worth your lives there or something? Just go ahead and die, then, Bon snaps. We're going there to pick up our friend, Luffy informs him, much to the shock of the prima ballerina. So it's for your pal, he mutters. Bon Clay, his men shout as he stands in front of them on our ship's railing. Running now wouldn't be like Bon Clay. If we abandoned pals who would risk their lives to pick up their pal, will we be able to enjoy our good tomorrow? He asks his crew, who all gasp. Listen, guys, Straw Hats, too. Listen to what I have to say carefully. And he explains his plan, changing into Luffy, and some of his men appear looking like the rest of us in some way as they begin to sail off. 3 minutes. Nami announces below deck as Bon and his crew sail away, allowing us to escape. Ready? Full speed ahead. We head east towards our rendezvous point as the Marines capture Bon Clay and his men as they attack one another. We all watch from the ship's rear as we sail off. Bon, we'll never forget you, Luffy cries as the attack on Bon Clay's ship ceases, and the Marine vessels head towards us. Ah, they're after us again, Usopp states with a shriek. Get out of our way, you bastards, Luffy growls as they start to catch up. Usopp, get to the cannon, Sanji, Luffy take the port side, Zoro and I will take the starboard side. I order them as we rush to our positions as the Marine ships gain speed. Pulling up on either side. Zoro slices the ship as Luffy punches the other as we sail towards the eastern shore. We hear Vivi and her speech. Vivi, Chopper mutters as he leans on the side with Luffy. You heard the speech, right? It was Vivi's voice without a doubt, Zoro tells them. They're just broadcasting the ceremony being held in Alubarna. She's already decided that she wouldn't come here, Sanji says. No, that voice just resembled Vivi's voice. That's all. Luffy denies it as we sail slowly up the eastern shore. This is the Tamarish place, right? Yeah, that's right, I confirm it. Let's go. It's past noon, Sanj tells him. There's no way that she didn't come. Let's go out and look for her. She's definitely here, Luffy suggests. Hey, this is bad. The Marines are after us again. Usopp alerts us from the top of the stairs. Just how many ships are there? Zoro asks him, and Usopp looks through his telescope. Damn it. We're gonna sail out now. Starboard, Usopp replies I see at least 6 ships heading right for us. Give up, Luffy. Her case is different from ours. Sanji tells him, and I walk up the steps when I hear Vivi shout and turn to see her with Karoo all dressed up for the ceremony. As she stands by the shore waving, I see my charm bracelet around her wrist. Vivi, Luffy yells. Karoo, Usopp yells out, and Nami runs up. Vivi, Nami calls out to her. See, she came, Luffy exclaims as I walk up towards them. Vivi, Sanji exclaims with hearts in his eyes. Let's go back, better hurry. Usopp shrieks and runs past me as I reach the ship's rear. The Marines are right there, too. Chopper yells as he waves at the princess, and I wave at them too. I came to say goodbye, she shouts, and I smile, knowing she will. What did she say? Luffy asks, his smile disappearing. I can't go with you. Thank you so much for everything. I'd like to go on more adventures, but there's no ignoring that I love this country. So I can't go, she tells us, and Luffy's smile returns. I see, he grins. She starts to cry. I will remain here, but if we ever meet again someday, will you call me your friend again? You'll forever be our, Luffy goes to say, and Nami smashes her mouth over him, smacking him into the deck. Idiot, don't reply. The Marines have noticed Vivi. If we prove she's connected with us, she'll become a criminal. Let's part without saying anything. Nami tells him, and we all turn our backs on our friend. We all stand on the ship's rear with our backs to her and hold our left arms up, showing our mark of friendship. The Marines begin firing at us but miss the ship as their cannons fall into the water, splashing water over us as we continue to sail away with our arms raised. Set sail, Luffy orders as the Marines keep firing at us. Say hi to Hina for me. I shout towards the Marine ship as they fire at us. Tell her, it was a fun night. I laugh as the others all look at me, and I ignore them. I hope the princess got my note. I grin at them. What did you do? Nami demands, and I smile more sincerely. I saved Pell, I tell her, and they all look at me in shock. Cost me one of my kidneys, but hey, I grew another one. Whoa, they're fast, Luffy exclaims as another cannon hits the water, rocking the ship. Rather, our ship is slowing down, Sanji snaps. Water's flooding in from the holes. We can't make it all the way out like this, Nami tells us. 4 ships, Zoro alerts us, and we walk over, ready for a fight. We have no choice but to fight, huh? I huff as I stand with the boys. Alright, let's go, Luffy exclaims, and we go to fight but trip over a pile of iron spears. What's this? We snap. Oh, that. Usopp said to keep them since we might be able to use them for something. Nami answers. They're in our way. Zoro exclaims in anger. We don't need them, Sanji growls. Then, should we ditch them? Luffy asks and throws the iron spears away straight for the 4 marine ships behind us. Okay. Are we ready? He dusts his hands and looks over at his handiwork. Now is the chance. Let's go full speed ahead and shake them off, I yell, and the boys get out the paddles and begin rowing as Chopper comes out, and Nami blows her whistle to keep the boys in line, and we soon come to clear seas. Looks like the Marines have stopped following us, Zoro states, and the others lie on the deck with their heads all through the railing bars, upset. We did shake them off, right? They all groan. You know, what's with those indifferent replies? I ask them as I lean against the main. I miss her, they all whine. Don't be whiny, if you wanted her to stay with us that badly, you should have taken her by force. Zoro tells them point blank. Ah, you're such a savage, Chopper cries. You're the worst, Nami snaps at him. Moss head. Sanji digs at him. 3-sword style, Luffy says. Hey, wait, Luffy. 3-sword style isn't an insult, Usopp points out. 4-sword style. Luffy changes it. The number isn't exactly the problem, listen. Usopp tries to explain, but it won't work. Being mean to them isn't going to make them, or you feel any better, I tell him as he walks towards me and the door to mine and Nami's room open. Looks like we finally made it off of the island, Miss All Sunday or Nico Robin announces herself. Yeah, Zoro says, and he looks over at me, and I shake my head, confirming it wasn't me. Good job. She adds as she walks out of the room onto the deck. Zoro and I get into a stance as the others hit their heads on the railing as they try getting up. Here to avenge your organization? I'll take you on, Zoro warns her. Why are you here? Nami asks her as she cradles the small bump on her head. Enemy attack, Usopp shouts into a bullhorn as Chopper runs around scared. Who's she? Chopper asks Sanji as they stand by the stairs, and the rest of his crowd are stowaway. Who cares? She's that beautiful lady. Sanji swoons like a moron, and Robin walks across towards the lawn chairs and smacks the weapons out of Zoro and Nami's hands with her devil fruit powers. Didn't I tell you before not to point such dangerous objects at me? Robin questions us as she looks over her shoulder. How long have you been on this ship? I ask her politely. All this time, she answers. These are your clothes, right? I look at the clothes she's wearing as she leans over, and I get a scoff from Zoro at my peering and nod. Seeing that they are some of my old clothes I don't wear anymore. I'm borrowing them. Keep them. I don't mind, I tell her with a smile as she leaves the lawn chair and stops to look at our captain. Monkey D. Luffy, you haven't forgotten what you did to me, have you? She asks him, and Sanji shakes him angrily at the vague reference. Luffy, what did you do to that beautiful lady, you bastard? I'm asking you what you did to her, Sanji demands as he roughly shakes the rubber boy. Get off the ship immediately, Usopp orders her through the bullhorn as he kneads behind the mast. Hey, you, don't lie, I didn't do anything to you. Luffy denies her accusation as she sets out the lawn chair and sits with her hands behind her head, too relaxed, it seems. Yes, you did. What you did to me was unbearable. Take responsibility, she tells him as she crosses her leg over. Who's that and what's going on? Chopper asks as he jumps into my arms. What's this unbearable thing you did? Luffy, you'd better take responsibility or, Sanji warns him as he keeps shaking him. Leave the ship, or we'll call the Marines. I'm serious, Usopp threatens her. Shut up, idiot. I snap at the long-nosed sniper. You don't make sense, what do you want me to do? Luffy asks her, and she sits up straight, her chin resting on the heel of her hand. Let me join your crew. She answers him. What? The others all exclaim, but Sanji is in shock as Zoro and I stand in silent surprise. You made me live then when I wanted to die. That's your crime. There's no place for me to go or go back to. So let me stay on this ship. Robin tells him, and he looks at her as everyone calms down. Oh, I see, then I guess we have no choice, okay. Luffy agrees to her terms. Luffy, Nami and Usopp shout in protest. Don't worry, she isn't a bad person. He assures them, and I walk into my room to change, feeling sweaty from the heat and the running around. One Piece. ALABASTA arc. I walk into the room and see nothing out of place. As I go to the wardrobe, I hear the door open and close, pull out clothes and see Zoro standing at the door with a blush. Need something? I ask him and see the blush deepen as I remove my new leather jacket. I want to talk about the kiss, he says in a low voice, and I smirk at how nervous he is about this. Okay, I like you a lot, I tell him as I sit on my bed to remove my boots. Okay, I like you too, he replies, and I smile, walking over to him in my socks. So, would you like to continue that kiss? I ask him as I look into his eyes, his whole face turning red at how close I am. I lean in, close my eyes and feel his lips on mine. I smile as he kisses our dominance, but I pull away before it can get heated. I'd very much like to, but I don't want this to be some passing fancy for either of us. He tells me, and I wrap my arms around his neck. I feel him wrap his arms around my waist. I know what I feel for you is real and it seems you feel the same way, why don't we make it official? I question, and he smirks. So you're my woman, and I'm your man? He asks, and I nod, kissing him again on the lips. Definitely, I smirk as I pull away. Crap, how are we going to tell Luffy? He asks, and I cringe, thinking of telling my overprotective baby brother. I have no idea. I chuckle nervously. Hey, Zoro, Dakota, we hear Luffy calling for us from outside. I need to change a little, I tell him and push him out of the room so I can change. One Piece. ALABASTA arc. I walk out as I put on my black blazer, only changing my long-sleeved top into a black tank top and my boots into combat boots, and I see Usopp sitting at the table with Robin on the other side, seemingly an interview. I find Zoro by the mast, close to them, and I pass Chopper and Luffy, who seem entranced by the hand on the floor because of Robin's devil fruit. I sit next to Zoro, who appears to be sulking a little, and I gently move his head to face me with a smirk as he looks at me. Stop frowning. It's bad for you. I joke, and he scoffs a little. Pay attention. Usopp snaps at the woman, and I look over, frowning slightly. I thought you said frowning was bad for you, Zoro teases me, and I nudge his shoulder a little. Answer my questions, honestly, I'll ask you one more time. What's your name? I'm Usopp. Nice to meet you. Yeah, nice to meet you. He bows at her. My name is Nico Robin. She answers him. Okay, then, Nico Robin. What's your occupation? He asks her. An archaeologist. She answers him again, seemingly playing along. Seriously? He exclaims in surprise. I come from a long line of archaeologists, she replies calmly. I see, that kind of family, huh? Usopp mutters to himself as he writes it down. What the hell, Zoro mutters, and I laugh a little. And, Usopp asks her to continue. I became an archaeologist, and then a wanted criminal. That was when I was 8. Since then, I've spent the past 20 years hiding from the world. She tells him, seeming indifferent to all she's been through. Since you were 8, by yourself all this time? He asks him in shock. But then, there was no way for a child to be able to survive alone on the sea. So, in the end, in order to protect myself and in order to achieve my goal, I've chosen to follow various rogues, so that's how it was. She concludes and leans on the table towards Usopp. So does that mean that Crocodile was just another rogue to you? He asks her. Yeah, I guess, in order to get closer to the Rio Poneglyph, she replies, and I inhale sharply. Zoro looks at me with a raised eyebrow. They're real? I question under my breath, remembering the stories Ray Ray used to tell me when he'd look after me as a bedtime story. Thanks to that, I've become good at doing things behind the scene. I'm sure I'll be able to help you guys, too. She doesn't seem to have heard me, and I lean against the mast. Oh, you're full of confidence. What are you good at? He asks her. Assassination. She answers simply. Hey, that's my speciality. I snap and point at her. She looks over at me as I lean against Zoro, my breasts leaning into his face. She throws a sweet smile at me, trying to make me melt, but it doesn't work much. Luffy. This investigation has concluded that she's too dangerous, Usopp shrieks, and I see Luffy and Chopper tickled by Robin's hands, distracting them. Are you guys listening? He shouts at them, and Nami slams her foot into the ship's side, gaining our attention. Seriously, being dealt with so easily, how pathetic. She was the vice president of a crime syndicate until just recently. How are we gonna let such a woman join us? Nami questions, and Usopp claps, glad someone is on board with the rest of us. I'm technically part of one. I pout as I hold out my deck of red cards, fanning them out. Even if you could deceive idiots, you can't deceive me. If you pull any weird stunts, I'll kick you out, Nami threatens her. Okay. I'll keep that in mind. Robin muses and takes something out of her pocket. I just remembered, she places a large pouch on the table. I brought some of Crocodile's jewelry with me. Nami rushes down the steps towards Robin with sparkling eyes at the thought of treasure. Wow. I love you, sister, Nami gushes, sucking up to the blue-eyed beauty. Nami's been suckered, Usopp states as we watch them. That's an evil trick. Zoro agrees as we stand from our seats as we watch them. She's completely following that woman's lead, Usopp mutters, and Sanji comes out of the kitchen, all loved up, as he slides down the banister holding a snack and a teacup. Oh, love, floating love, I'm driftwood that just lays its burnt to a crisp body in that stream. Sanji spouts nonsense as he circles around the table, passing Nami as she cradles the gems. I'm driftwood that has been struck by the thunderbolt that is your beauty and caught in a raging torrent. He places the cake in front of her. Snack for you. Oh, thank you. Robin smiles at the lovesick cook. And his reaction is no surprise, I comment. Yeah, we just have to consider that he was a lost cause from the start, Usopp agrees. In any case, now that it's come to this, the three of us are the last holdouts. Zoro clarifies, and it feels a bit tense. Indeed, they're so simple-minded, or should I say lax. Usopp comments, and I feel he will give in now. Hey, Usopp, Luffy calls out to him, and he turns around. Chopper. I look over to see the hands coming out of Luffy's hat as he pulls a face. Usopp laughs with the other two. Dummies. I chuckle as Zoro groans, and I intertwine our hands. I can't believe I'm always attracted to such serious men. I sigh dramatically as I pull him away from the others up the stairs to the ship's stern. What do you mean, attracted to serious men? He asks me as he walks behind me. Well, I did date Smoker for a short time about a year ago, I tell him, and he looks at me in surprise as he leans against the side, and I lean next to him. And there was another one before him. And who was he? He asks, and Robin follows us up the steps walking past us as she looks out to the water. This ship is nice, is it always lively like this? She asks us. Yeah, it is. He answers her with a frown. I see. She smiles at us, and his frown worsens. I poke him in the cheek, trying to make him smile. By the way, navigator, is it smooth sailing right now? Robin asks Nami as she sits on the railing admiring the water. Wind, weather, both no problem. It's going very smoothly, sis. Nami replies, still looking at the gems in her hand. Stop poking me, Zoro snaps, and he lightly nips at my finger. Owie. I fake being hurt and put my finger in my mouth, making him grin. Sanji, isn't our snack ready? Luffy asks, finally down and messing around with the hands. Just hold on a sec. Sanji snaps out of his love fest over the older woman. I'm hungry. Luffy complains. Me too, me too, me too. Usopp and Chopper join in. One Piece. Alabasta arc. We all sit around the table inside the kitchen. I sit next to Zoro as we all eat our snacks and drink our tea. So, Dakota, now that you and Zoro are together, where will you be sleeping? Nami asks, and I spit out my tea as Zoro chokes on his food, and we look at the grinning navigator. You bitch. I mutter as I glare at her. What's going on? Luffy asks, not seeming to understand. Wait, you and Zoro? What? Run. I push Zoro as Luffy angrily tries to punch him. Luffy, stop it. I won't allow it, Luffy growls. You can't refuse what's already happened, Zoro snaps at him. I don't want you two together, I don't want you to hurt my sister, Luffy shouts. I promise I would never intentionally hurt Dakota, Zoro promises, and I smile at him. I don't believe you, Luffy snaps at him with rage. Well, believe it, I would rather cut off my own arm than harm Dakota. We all stare at him in shock at his declaration, and I run into his arms as he hugs me. I cradle my head into the crook of his neck. Whoa! Luffy gasps in awe. Okay, but you have to tell Ace, and you have to tell your uncle, along with your dad if it's so serious. Wait, if I tell my dad that I'm dating someone, he'll come from the New World to kill him. The same with all of my uncle and the rest of my family. I cringe and worry, thinking of telling my dad. And if I tell Ace, he'll get like you. I won't accept it until you do, Luffy declares, and I growl, grabbing his vest. Don't be so unreasonable, I shout in his face. I won't accept it, he repeats, and I grumble as I get out my mini transponder snail from my pocket and dial in the number for Ace. Ace, hello, it's Dakota, I'm dating Zoro now, bye, I sputter before hanging up. Done. Dakota, don't shy away from it, Nami scolds me. But I don't want to deal with it, and it's gonna get worse, I whine and dial the number for Uncle Hockey. Hello, dear niece. He answers, and I groan. Hello, Uncle. I greet him and sigh. I'm dating Roronoa Zoro now. I hang up and feel a deadly aura as the transponder snail wails moments later, and I answer it. What? My father shouts, and I hang up for it to ring again, and I answer. Sweetie, what's this I hear about you dating someone and your bounty? I hang up again. I can't do it, I whine as the others all look in shock as the snail rings again. Daddy, yes, I am dating someone. His name is Zoro. It doesn't mean you're not the #1 person in my life anymore. Tell the others I said hello. I look over at Luffy. See, I did it. Now, will you accept it? I ask him, and he nods with a grin. I guess I can. He agrees, and I sigh in relief as my mini transponder snail rings continuously. No, Luffy, don't, Sanji shrieks in protest. Shut up, idiot. It doesn't concern you. Zoro snaps at the cook, and they start fighting again. But I'm watching you. I don't want my big sister to get hurt. Ever. Hello? Luffy answers my transponder snail, and I shriek, thinking it'll be my father, but the voice that responds is one I haven't heard in a long time. Hello? Who is this? I push Luffy away as I take the transponder snail. Hello Rere. Why are you calling? I ask him with a small smile. Your father called me in tears about you dating someone, he replies, and I chuckle nervously. Yeah, I am, but I don't know why he's crying about it. He started dating my mother when he was 13, I point out. I know, but you're the only thing he has left after Anna was killed, Rere replies, and I nod. I know, but still, I haven't seen him since I was a kid, I pout a little. Well, I'm glad you're doing okay littlest devil, I'll see you at the bar soon. He grins, and I chuckle. Definitely, we can go to the gambling house. Say hello to Shakes for me, I tell him. I will see you soon. He says goodbye. See ya. I hang up and look at the others to see them all smiling. What? Who was that? Chopper asks me. That was my godfather, Rere. He lives on the last island of this half of the Grand Line. I'll introduce all of you. I tell them with a big grin. Cool, I can't wait. Luffy giggles, and he hugs me. I accept. I'm glad. I exclaim as I hug him back, and the others laugh at us as he wraps his arms around me a few times. One Piece. Alabasta arc. It's been a day since I told everyone about Zoro and me. I sit on the deck with my painting supplies as I begin painting, feeling the memory and losing myself as I paint and the others all move around me. It's nice and peaceful. Hello, beautiful. Zoro greets me as he sits behind me, and I look over my shoulder as he moves, so I sit between his legs and lean back. Hey, handsome. I greet him back as I lean into his chest. What do you think? I like it, he replies as he looks at my painting. Hey, cool, Usopp exclaims as he comes over. Yeah, it's really cool, Luffy exclaims in awe. It's me, Chopper cheers as he carefully points at himself in the painting. We're all there. I laugh, enjoying this moment, and even Nico Robin comes over, admiring the painting. It's very well detailed, she comments as she looks at the painting of us and Vivi and Karoo. Thank you. I smile at her. You really captured the moment, Nami compliments me. Thanks, you guys, so where to next? I ask them with a grin. It's been a day since I told everyone about Zoro and me. I sit on the deck with my painting supplies as I begin painting, feeling the memory and losing myself as I paint and the others all move around me. It's nice and peaceful. Hello, beautiful. Zoro greets me as he sits behind me, and I look over my shoulder as he moves, so I sit between his legs and lean back. Hey, handsome. I greet him back as I lean into his chest. What do you think? I like it, he replies as he looks at my painting of us and Vivi and Karoo. Hey, cool, Usopp exclaims as he comes over. Yeah, it's really cool, Luffy exclaims in awe. It's me, Chopper cheers as he carefully points at himself in the painting. We're all there. I laugh, enjoying this moment, and even Nico Robin comes over, admiring the painting. It's very well detailed, she comments as she looks at the painting. Thank you. I smile at her. You really captured the moment, Nami compliments me. Thanks, you guys, so where to next? I ask them with a grin. One Piece. Post-Alabasta arc first adventure. Everyone, wake up. Wake up. I hear Nami shouting from outside. I blink awake to see my head leaning on Zoro's chest as he yawns, waking up. I smirk as I lean down, kissing him on the lips. He kisses me back when Nami shouts again. It's an island. We can see an island. I hear a ruckus next door in the men's quarters. Looks like we have to get up. I groan as I roll off of Zoro, who complains too, and I get up from my bed that he spent the night in and walk out of the room with Zoro following, leaving Robin alone. It's been a couple of days since she joined, but I still find it strange to see her around the ship instead of Vivi. One Piece. Post-Alabasta arc. I walk up to the ship's bow with everyone as we stare at the new island ahead. You woke us up for this? Zoro grumbles as he stands behind me, his arms around my waist. Get your filthy hands off Dakota. Sanji growls at the swordsman. I sigh as they start fighting so early in the morning. Shut up, you stupid cook, he snaps, and I push them both apart. Both of you shut up, I growl at them. Okay, everyone, get ready. We'll arrive soon, Nami informs us as she walks towards our room. What? I ask, seeing the look Zoro's throwing at me, and he points to his clothes. I look down to see I'm still in my pajamas from last night, a crop top and shorts. They see me naked. I point out, pointing to the others, and he frowns. When was this? He asks. At the baths back in Alabasta, I answer him. I thought that was Nami, he snaps, and I shrug as I walk away to my room. One Piece. Post-Alabasta arc. We finally dock near the island and walk onto the island's clean beach. Now dressed in jeans, boots, and a long sleeve shirt, I pull my sunglasses away to observe the jungle-like island. Doesn't this island have monsters? I prefer big and strong ones. Luffy beams as he looks around, trying to start trouble again. There doesn't seem to be anything suspicious, and it looks like this is a small island, too, Nami says as she looks over the island. She's jinxed us now, I grumble under my breath. Look, Nami. Sanji calls out to her as he holds onto the top of one of the palm trees with a strange fruit in hand. This is perfect for making non-perishable food. It looks like this island has tons of these. He throws it down to her gently so she can catch it, and she looks at the strange fruit with awe. I see, seems like it'd be a good idea to collect them and load them on the ship, Nami orders us, and Sanji slides down the tree. Looks like there are other plants that can be used for food. This island seems quite enjoyable for a cook, he comments as he walks back over to us. Okay. Then please go look for things that can be used for good, Sanji. She requests the love cook. The remaining 5 of you will do this. She holds out 5 sticks in her hand towards us. Huh? Luffy questions as he tilts his head to the side. What is it? Choppers ask the navigator. Drawing lots, Usopp questions as he looks at the 5 sticks in her hand. The 4 who draw the shortest lots will spend all day collecting these. The one who draws the longest one will stay here and watch the ship. She explains the plan. Why are you the one giving us orders? Zoro asks her, growing frustrated as he leans close to her face, and I pull him back. Right. Normally the captain would give orders, but Nami pointedly looks over at Luffy as he holds 4 of the sticks. Oh hey, they're all short, Luffy comments as he looks down at the sticks in glee. Hey, why do you draw 4 of them? Usopp asks him in shock. Isn't the one who grabs the most the winner? Luffy replies. Wrong game, Luffy, I mutter, shaking my head. Do you think this ship has a captain who can give orders? Nami asks us. No, it doesn't, we all agree as the idiot laughs. Am I that great? Luffy chuckles, and the boys all punch him. Obviously not, they snap as he falls into the shallow part of the water. Zoro picks up, dragging him back as he groans, spitting up water. Let's try again. Nami groans as she picks up the sticks and puts them into her fist, holding them out for all of us to pick. I pick one of the shorter ones along with Zoro, Usopp and Luffy, leaving Chopper to look after the ship. I drew the longest one. So I'll be watching the ship? He asks as he stares at the stick. Yes. Please look after the ship, Chopper. Nami tells him as Sanji returns with 4 baskets for us to collect the fruit. Hurry up, hurry up. Let's go already. Let's go get fruits already. Luffy grows excited as we all put the baskets on our backs. You're coming too, right, Nami? No, I'll spend all day today measuring this island. I'd like to put it on the sea chart. I can't wait to put my skills in practice. She beams, pumping her fist in the air. Seeming overly happy, I pick Chopper up before placing him back on the Going Merry and walk over to the group. See you later. Be careful. Have fun. Chopper waves us off from the bow of the ship. Look after the ship. Okay. Nami tells him. Call if you need anything, I tell him, and we head off into the jungle. The one who collects the most will win. Luffy cheers as he starts running off. What a pain, Usopp groans as we walk off behind the energetic captain. Why do we have to take orders from that woman? Zoro grumbles. I knock into his side with a grin. Cheer up, we can take a break at some point. I hint, making the tough swordsman blush a little as I giggle, and we split off, going our separate ways to find food. One Piece. Post Alabasta arc. I kick one of the trees, shaking the fruit free. I turn my back, allowing the fruits to fall into the basket on my back. I look around and hear a yell coming from nearby. I walk over to see a mountain of fruit and out pops my boyfriend. I can't help the laugh that escapes my lips as I look at him with a deep frown on his face. He looks over at me as I laugh. Doing okay there, Zoro? I ask him through my laugh. Think that's funny, do ya? He asks and throws a fruit towards me, but I move out of the way in time. I do, actually. I agree with him and pick up one of the fruits littering the ground around him and throw it towards him, hitting him on the top of his head. Oi, he snaps, picking up a fruit and throwing it towards me. It hits me in the arm, breaking it into pieces, covering my sleeve with the juice and parts of the fruit, and Zoro starts laughing. Oh, you've started it now. I pick up a piece of fruit as he does, and we start throwing the fruits at each other, enjoying ourselves. One Piece. Post Alabasta arc. The sun sets finally, and we all make it back to the beach where we docked the Going Merry. Zoro and I are the only ones who managed to pick any fruit, but it's more than enough for now. I start making the fire as Zoro cuts down 4 trees, making seats for us around the fire. Sanji starts making the food, and soon it turns to dusk as we all sit around the fire, eating. So, why weren't you able fruit? Nami demands an answer from Usopp and Luffy. That's a good question. What's your answer? Luffy asks her as he eats a piece of meat and one of the fruits. That time, I thought, a huge king condor attacked me. Usopp exclaims, making up a ridiculous lie as he falls off the log onto his back. Sorry, everyone, I tried risking my life to get fruits, but I couldn't, I'm dead. He pops one of his pellets, and the red liquid falls over his chest. On the contrary, Zoro and Dakota did a great job. She compliments us as she stares at the 2 full baskets. Keep up that momentum and stay up all night tonight to get more. Yeah, right. I snap as Zoro chokes on his food. I slam my hand onto his back, helping him. Oh, how lovely Nami is, even when she efficiently gives orders, Sanji coos as he looks at our navigator. Shut up. You let your cook. Zoro snaps at the cook, glaring at him. Wanna fight, Mosshead? Sanji snaps back at the swordsman. I was just kidding, Nami tells him, pulling them apart. I wrap my arms around Zoro's neck as we all laugh at the 2 men. But hey, today was the first peaceful day in a while. I comment as I kiss the greenette on the cheek, but he moves, catching my lips. What about you? What did you do all day? Today on the ship? Luffy asks Chopper while his mouth is full. Me? Nothing special, Chopper replies, and I see him look over to Robin as she sits on the lawn chair with the table, reading a book with a candle for light. But it was a pretty good day. That's good. I smile back and yawn a little. Come on. Zoro picks me up in his arms, and we head back for the ship to shower and change, thanks to the fruit juices and pieces all over our clothes. One Piece. Post Alabasta arc. Second adventure. A few days later, we head back out as the log pose sets quickly, and Luffy, Chopper and Usopp are fishing. While Zoro is on the lookout, Robin is reading again. Nami is standing outside navigating, and Sanji is in the kitchen. Me? I'm in my room trying to find my book of names that I can't find anywhere. I take off my orange cardigan showing my striped shirt, red bikini top, and jeans. Ah, where is it? I snap as I look under my bed. But all I see are my shoes and bags. I look under Nami's but still nothing. I look at the bookcase, but I see all the new books Nami and Robin have added, but still no book. I run to the door, slamming it open. One Piece. Post-Alabasta arc. I slam the door open when Luffy pulls on the fishing rod. Something's taken the bait. Luffy exclaims and falls back onto the deck with a giant sea snail in the middle. What the heck is this? It's huge. Chopper gasps. Hey, Luffy. What did you catch? Sanji asks from above, and we approach the sea snail that doesn't look too good. What a huge shell. Luffy beams as we all look at the sea snail. What are we gonna do with it? Nami questions. I wonder if it's edible. Luffy drools a little, thinking about his stomach. Always thinking of your stomach. I scoff at the rubber boy. You want to eat it? Usopp asks him. Maybe cook it in its shell? Sanji ponders, thinking of recipes. Hey, you two. Usopp snaps at the cook when the hatch in the middle of the shell pops open, and an arm climbs out. We all wait as a man in a faded orange sail suit with a sash says, Geki Yasu, comes out. Ah, boy, I thought I'd die. Hi, everyone. He greets us, and I look at the yellow tie over the blue shirt with purple polka dots with a raised eyebrow. Who are you? Luffy asks him as we all get a look at him. Oh, pardon me for not introducing myself sooner. With a single call, I'll cordially deliver products to your town. I'm Rice from Transponder Snail Mail Order. Very nice to meet you. He introduces himself with a sparkling salesman smile. Transponder Snail Mail Order, what's that? Zoro asks the man, growing suspicious. Well, I was in the process of making a delivery with the Escar, but I got caught in a heavy storm and got shipwrecked with the waves throwing me to and fro. He explains and sways his arms over his head, and we find ourselves tilting our heads with him. I see, I mutter, still not sure of him myself. You must have been shaken up. Nami comments, and he leans in. Shaken and stirred. He chuckles at the line. Just kidding. You're quite a clever, miss. I look over to see Chopper tending to the sea snail, giving it some water. Thank you for saving me, he says and pulls out a stack of catalogs. This isn't much, but as a token of my gratitude, I'll give you these catalogs. With a single call, I'll deliver the products to you. Oh, that's convenient. So you'll deliver even when we're on the sea? Zoro asks him. That, I can't. He answers. That's really, Zoro grumbles, and I pat him on the back for comfort. Yes, our motto is safe, reliable and cheap. And our mission is, our company is. Believe it or not, he goes on when Luffy and Usopp look into the sea snail and pull something out. I point over to them, alerting him. What are you guys doing? What's this? Luffy exclaims as he pulls out what looks like weights, but they're wobbling. Rice snatches it out of his hand. Okay, this is what I'm going to introduce to you today. The Buru Blade, which is familiar to people by now. The Buru Blade is our company's top product. And today, I'll introduce you to this new model. I'm sure that many of you are already using the old Buru Blade. But the old model didn't, let you change the weight load, which was bad. It was fine for fathers, but many wanted small children to be able to use it. He starts trying to sell it, and Luffy buys right into it. I don't know what it is, but it looks fun, Luffy beams as he looks at the toy. So, this new model lets you keep a certain rhythm and, he drones on, and I look as Chopper pushes a pink rabbit toy across the deck. This is fun, he smiles as he moves back and forth, and Rice picks it up, showing the rest of us. You know all about his one, right? This is the Abu Tider. Our company's #1 product. A new model has been released. Give this a try, Rice tries selling. How is top different from #1? Sanji asks. Who knows? Zoro and I mutter as we watch Usopp on another contraption with him, lying on a bench with 2 balls on rubber bands, hitting into his side, swaying him back and forth as he holds onto some handles and his feet are locked in. And this is our best-selling product, the golden fish. This is recommended for people who don't exercise much these days. I'll offer these great weight loss products together as a set. And, today only, I'll also add 20 bottles of plenty sweet marrow juice made in the West Blue. He offers, holding up the box, and I lick my lips, remembering them as a child. A 26-volume encyclopedia set that will definitely be useful, and a pair of binoculars that are convenient for various things. How much do you think all this would cost? A pretty penny, to be sure. Just leave it to me, today only. I present this as a token for my gratitude for saving my life. Are you gonna give them to us? Luffy asks Rice. How about 23,800 berries? Just take them, you thieves, he grins. So you're selling them? Zoro scoffs at the salesman. I want them, Chopper, Luffy and Usopp all exclaim, even though we don't need any of them, but I do kinda want the marrow juices. You wanna buy them? Sanji mutters at the three naive idiots, and they all look in the catalogs. Oh, you carry kitchen knives, too? Yes. You're talking about this, right? Rice asks him as he holds a kitchen knife and bends the blade. This is one of the high-quality items produced individually and carefully by a craftsman in High Mountain. Look at this elasticity, and its excellent sharpness will last forever. He suddenly removes a small table, placing a box of knives on it, trying to entice the cook. A dozen table knives, a pair of all-purpose kitchen scissors that can cut anything, a paring nightstone. I'll add all these. He places the items all down on the table. If you act now, it's 2,960 berries. He looks over at Robin, who hasn't lifted her eyes from her book and walks around with a soap bar. For you, miss, here is a smooth skin soap. It can make your skin as smooth as an egg. He holds it up, and she looks at the soap bar from her book. I see, you do have everything. Robin comments. Yes. From mineral water to cannonballs, there's nothing we don't carry, he boasts. You have living things, too? Luffy asks him. Well, we don't. Rice answers, which disappoints him. What? You don't? Luffy sighs. We don't have what we don't carry, so, he chuckles. Say, do you have paper? Nami inquires. Huh? Paper? He questions. That's right. Strong paper that's big and hard to tear, so that it'll take more than a small sea breeze to get damaged. She explains, and he seems to lighten up at the request. Then, please leave it to me. He exclaims and runs to his escar, taking out a paper stake. Transponder snail mail order presents with confidence the best paper, 1,000-year paper. He introduces as he holds the paper up towards the navigator. 1,000-year paper? Luffy asks him as he looks at the paper. 1,000-year paper is manufactured by using the 1,000-year tree that naturally grows on 8-9 Island. This paper keeps away bugs, and it's said that it won't fade for at least 1,000 years. Even if it's kept exposed to the sun, it's the best for writing family trees or drawing treasure maps. He explains as he holds them up to the sun. Paper aeroplanes, too? Luffy asks him, and Rice looks at the rubber pirate. Huh, that would be a waste, he mutters as he looks at the dummy. So how much is it? Nami asks, to all our surprise. You're gonna buy it? Luffy gasps. Of course, she replies. Even if you're interested, it's a valuable item in short supply. Even if you order now, I don't know if it'd be available in 5 years, or 10, he tries playing her. But isn't there some way you could sell it to me? I'll pay any price. She tells him, and we all look at her in shock. What? Luffy gasps. The Nami who would rather count money than eat her meals, Usopp exclaims. The Nami who is a moneymonger, Zoro sputters in surprise. We'll pay any price? They all exclaim. You guys are overreacting. Sanji jumps to her defense. Okay, then, if you insist that much, he gets out a large stack of paper from the escar. A ream of 1,000-8,000-year papers normally cost 60 million berries, but how about a special price of 48 million? 48 million berries, Chopper exclaims at the price. Does that mean that it costs 48,000 berries a sheet? Usopp exclaims. Can't you drop the price a little more? Nami bargains, coming across as begging. Well then, I'll make it a lot cheaper. How about 47.5 million berries, Rice tells her. 2 million berries. Nami yells, holding up 2 fingers in his face. 4.8 million berries, he negotiates with the queen of bargaining. Can't you go cheaper? She asks him, holding his hand and trying to sway him. We'll buy it, Sanji butts in. You have the money? I ask him. Nope, he answers, and we all fall over at his answer, and he grabs some rope, tying it around Luffy. But if we have him over to the Marines, we'll have that in change. What? No. Luffy shouts at the cook. Sorry, Luffy. This is for Nami, he replies. Wait a sec. I snap. Help me, Dakota, Luffy cries out. Luffy, Dakota. Ah, Luffy, Dakota, you mean, that monkey D. Luffy and Dakota LaRue? Rice asks us in fright. Yeah, that's us. Sanji. Whatever, just untie me. Luffy orders the cook. No, I can't. Sanji replies, and Rice seems in shock and looks up at our pirate flag at our mast's top. Come to think of it, that's a pirate flag. He cries out and crouches on the deck in fear. I can't believe I missed such important details. Sanji. Untie me. Luffy demands. No, Sanji answers, and Rice suddenly gets to his feet in fear, sweating bullets. I just remembered that I have an important, he yells as he runs to the sea snail and climbs in, jumping overboard without collecting any of his products. Thanks for everything. Hey, you forgot something. Zoro shouts after him as we lean over the side, watching him disappear into the water. What's with him? Luffy asks, not getting it. Maybe he was scared of you too. Wanted. Monkey D. Luffy, Dakota LaRue. Robin points out, and Nami cheers as she holds the paper. Well, that all worked out, I comment as I look through the things he left behind as Nami walks to the storage room. Listen, I'm going to work now, so don't interrupt me, okay? Nami orders us. What do you mean, work? Usopp asks her. It's a secret. She replies with a wink directed at him. That's not cute, you know, he groans in disgust. Leave it to me. I won't let anyone near you until you're done with your work. Sanji vows like the usual sucker he is. But what if the wind direction suddenly changes or something? Chopper asks her. Don't worry. Those clouds, she tells us and points up to the sky full of different sizes and shapes of clouds. If they don't move, we'll have a fine day today, and there'll be no problem. Come get me only when something changes with those clouds. She closes the door behind her, leaving us outside. I look over the products again, and something catches my eye. Ooh, I exclaim, gaining the boy's attention as I hold a red leather-bound journal. I need a new one. I seem to have lost my old one. I huff as I place it in the pocket of my jeans pocket. What? That's bad. That has all the names of everyone you've ever killed, Usopp exclaims. What should we do? What if the Marines have it? No idea, but still, I must have left it at the royal palace. I shrug it off and head to my room. I'm gonna start rewriting the names back in. I go inside, leaving the boys and Robin to do whatever. One Piece. Post Alabasta arc. I close the door behind me and sit on the couch as I grab a pen and start writing, trying to remember, in order, all of the names since I was 11 years old and since I started as a member of the Golden Campus. I hear banging from outside and head up out, not seeing Nami in the storage room. One Piece. Post Alabasta arc. I pop out to see her hitting Sanji and Zoro over the head, knocking them to the floor. Didn't I tell you to be quiet? Nami snaps at them. Nami, Sanji croaks. Jay, just one hit, Chopper gasps. Morons, I mutter and head back to my room. One Piece, post Alabasta arc. I hear more noise again and head up to see what the boys are doing, to see the deck covered in bubbles. I stand in the doorway as I look over the deck. What's going on? It's noisy. Zoro complains as he walks down the stairs. The boys probably woke him from a nap. He stops at the last step and bends down, picking the soap bar out of the bubbles. What? The smooth skin soap. This looks kinda dangerous. I warn them. It's okay. No problem. Usopp laughs as he sits on Chopper's head in his reindeer form, who uses the Abu Abu slider to move back. He catapults Usopp, who holds onto the broom and collides into Luffy, sending him flying off the front of the ship. Luffy! Chopper calls out. That idiot, Zoro snaps. Gum gum bungee jump. Luffy cries out as he stretches his arm out, holding onto the Going Merry's figurehead and comes back up but too far as he comes sailing towards us. Move away. Watch out, Nami. Sanji dives at Nami as Luffy approaches us. I grab the door handle and slam the door shut. He crashes into the door, falling back onto the deck. I open the door again to see the minor dents. Are you okay, Nami? She doesn't answer as she peels his arm off and runs to the door, knocking me away. Move. She snaps as she looks around, checking for damage. Thank goodness. She holds up a piece of paper, and I see it's a map. Oh, you were drawing a map? Luffy asks her a sorry. A map? Chopper asks, intrigued. So that's what your work was, Usopp realizes. That's right. It's the only map in the world that recorded our journey after entering the Grand Line, and it almost, she grits her teeth, leave. But Chopper tries to say, but I pull him away. Just leave, she pushes Usopp back out of the storage room. Nami. I'm sorry. Luffy apologizes, looking deeply sorry. If sorry were enough, there'd be no need for the Marines, now leave already. If you don't, you'll be fined 100,000 berries. She snaps and closes the door on us. You're welcome for saving your map, I grumble and wrap my arms around Zoro's waist as we walk away. It's your fault. Sanji lays the blame on Zoro. Why's that? Zoro snaps. Well, I think so, too. Usopp agrees. I think so, too. Chopper agrees with the others, not wanting to be left out. What? You, too? Zoro snaps. Now, Luffy, cheer up, I tell him and unwrap my arms from Zoro's waist and wrap them around Luffy's shoulders, and I pull out my red playing cards. He grins and runs off with Chopper and Usopp to go play. Don't lose any, they're hard to get. Zoro heads up the ladder, and I join him. We cuddle though he says it's not manly. I point out that I get certain privileges as his girlfriend. He concedes defeat as he wraps his arms around my waist. As I lean into his chest, I interlock our fingers, and I feel safe and happy at this moment. My eyes begin to grow heavy. Hey, you guys. How long are you gonna keep sleeping? I hear Nami shout from below and blink awake, yawning a little and see a cyclone of water in front of us. Ah! What the heck is this? Luffy yells, and Zoro and I jump down from the crow's nest. It's a tornado! It's a tornado! Usopp screams. It's obvious. Zoro snaps at the panicking sniper. Luffy. Zoro. Dakota, fold the sails, Nami orders. Okay. We shout back and run off. Usopp, Chopper, secure stuff on the deck using ropes, she orders them. Got it. They shout back and run off. Get my playing cards, I shout at them, seeing them lying on the floor. Yeah. Chopper shouts back. Sanji. Turn to starboard, she orders, and he runs off to the helm. I run across the beam as I pull the ropes to help secure them. Listen, if my precious map gets washed away by waves or something, you'll all pay, dearly, she warns us with a mean look on her face. She really is scary. Chopper yelps from below. We keep sailing, avoiding the cyclone of water and the rain into calm water with the sun shining again. The atmospheric pressure has risen, and the rain has stopped, too. Thanks for your work. You can rest now, she tells us, and I jump down onto the deck. Well then, I'll go back to work, so watch the clouds again. You're not done yet, Chopper asks her, confused. Of course not, my goal is to draw up the world map. I've just finished the first one. The real work starts from here, she replies with a big grin on her face. She's really going at it, Zoro smirks, and I wrap my arm around his shoulder. I like Nami that way, too, Sanji swoons. I wonder if there'll be a 100,000 berry fine again, Chopper mutters in worry. Probably, I reply, looking at the greedy woman, and I hear Robin shut her book. You've been reading all this time? Usopp mutters as he looks at the blue-eyed beauty as she looks up at the clear skies. Now, unfurl the sails, Nami orders, and Luffy stretches his arms back up to the sails and begins untying them with Zoro's help. Full speed ahead, Luffy shouts as he sits on the beam. Yeah, we all cheer as he jumps down, so, I'll leave the rest to you, Nami cuts in. Hey, we all complain, and she laughs, walking down the stairs back into the storage room. Who wants to play some poker? I ask as I take my cards from Chopper. Yeah, why not? Zoro agrees, but the others all shake their heads. Come on, we don't have to play for money. We could play for favors, and no pervy ones, Sanji. I tell them, and they nod as we sit under the mast and begin playing. One Piece. Post-Alabasta Arc 3rd adventure. A week has gone, and we still find trouble as we come into a thick fog. I stand in my red wool dress jumper, tights and boots with Zoro as he wraps his arms around my waist as we watch for anything in the mist around us. Damn, it's like milk got spilled into this fog. I can't see ahead of us. Luffy, do you see anything? Usopp asks from the crow's nest as he looks through his goggles, and Luffy sits on the figurehead who shakes his head. Hey, I see something. Oh, no? There's a giant ship in front of us, he shouts down, and I look over to see it coming into focus the closer we get. Sanji. The helm. Hard to starboard, Nami orders him, and he pops out all loved up. Here, Nami. It's Sanji's specially made love. He stops seeing the situation. This is bad. We're surrounded by the Marines, aren't we? Usopp exclaims in fear. Awesome. Luffy beams as if it's good news. Not even the Marines can move around in this kind of fog, huh? Nami points out. It might be best for us to escape under cover of this thick fog, Robin suggests. You're right. Keep heading forwards. Everyone, keep quiet. Nami orders us. Especially you, Luffy. Right. Luffy agrees, but it won't last long. Nami, please, wait a minute, Sanji says and walks out of the kitchen, pointing out the small kid on one of the ships, looking out into the fog with a large pot on the railing. A child? I wonder what he's doing. Nami ponders, and he seems to notice us and panics, hitting the large pot over the side. He tries to grab it but starts to fall, too. Sanji runs to the side and is about to jump off. Look out, he shouts. Allow me. Robin jumps in, crosses her arms in front of her, and arms spring out of the side of the marine ship, grabbing the kid and the pot and bringing them aboard as we sail away from the fleet of ships. Sanji catches him as Robin moves him closer, and we all enter the kitchen. One Piece. Alabasta arc. Sanji lays the kid on the bed in the room before moving to make him something to eat. Zoro moves to the helm stirring this away, and Chopper grabs his medical bag, gets out a test tube with pink-smelling salts and moves it under the kid's nose. He's okay now. These smelling salts appear to be working. Chopper announces as the kid jumps up in shock. Where am I? He asks as he looks at us. You're on the ship of the Straw Hat Pirates, Usopp answers, scaring him even more. Pirates? He gasps in shock. Yeah. I nod as I sit on the floor with Chopper in my lap. Do you remember? You fell overboard from a marine ship? Nami reminds him, and he seems to remember. Stay back. You're planning to attack the Marines, aren't you? He accuses us. What's with him and after we rescued him, too? Usopp huffs. You can't blame him. He's a Marine. Robin and I say together. We look at each other sharing a smile. First, eat something, Sanji tells him, placing the soup tray on the side of the bed. I don't want it, I don't need any pirate help, he snaps. Huh, you won't have any soup made by the cook on a pirate ship, huh? It's not poisoned or anything. You'll settle down, once you've got a little something in your stomach. Sanji tells him, and he looks down at the soup. He picks up the bowl and takes a spoonful, seeming to enjoy it as he finishes the whole bowl as fast as Luffy almost. Thanks, that was good. He compliments our outstanding chef. Sure, you're welcome, Sanji replies with a smile. I'm Tejio. I'm a probationary cook for the Marines. He introduces himself, seeming calmer now. I'm Sanji. He introduces himself back. Yeah, you're a cook, are you? Luffy asks him. Sanji, you're so good, too good to be a pirate cook on a rundown ship like this. Tejio tells him, and I cringe a little at the look Usopp and Luffy are throwing at him. What did you say? This ship is not run down, Luffy snaps in defense of the Going Merry. Yeah, this ship is from Syrup Village, where I used to live, Usopp goes off. Is it sweet? He asks because of the name. No, not like that. And there was this girl, named Kaya, who you have a crush on, I add, and he glares at me, his cheeks growing red. Who gave us this ship, so it's very dear to us? He finishes, and Tejio gets up from the bed. We all walk out of the room, and I place his hat back on his head as we walk. One Piece. Alabasta arc. We all stand at the back of the ship, looking out into the fog, but we can make out the fleet of marine ships. As it happens, Tejio mutters, looking upset. I spilled the curry that they were having for lunch. I apologized, but the chef told me to make the curry by lunch. The chef was right. No question. Sanji agrees. Yeah, Luffy mutters in agreement. So then, I've tried making it again and again, but it doesn't turn out right, he replies, looking down at his shoes. Tejio, do you have any experience cooking? Nami asks him. I only started being a probationary cook 6 months ago, Tejio tells her. 6 months should be plenty, Sanji remarks. No, I can't. All I do every day is wash dishes and peel things. I still haven't actually made any food. What's worse, all of the ships, Captains have a custom of getting together once a week and having curry for lunch. This week, it's my ship's turn to host it. How is my curry supposed to meet the tastes of the Marines' big shots? He questions. The Marines' curry is famous. I hear the chef on each ship competes with all the others, and each one has their own flavor for their ship. Robin explains. Oh, yeah? That sounds yummy, huh? Luffy asks, thinking of his stomach. With 6 months' time in the galley, if you don't have any confidence in yourself, then go back and apologize to your chef again, Sanji tells the kid. No way. He rejects the idea and turns towards us. If I tell him that, he'll put me off the ship. Does it have to be that ship? Luffy asks him. Is there any reason for that, or anything? I ask him. Well, the all. Do you know about the all blue? He asks, and I look over in the corner of my eye to see Sanji stop in his tracks. The east blue, the west blue, the south blue, the north blue. It's where all the delicacies from the 4 seas are gathered together. As a cook, it's a sea of treasures that I'd like to go to sometimes. The senior cooks laugh it off as a dream, but I believe in it. I'm sure the all blue is out there. If I'm aboard a marine warship, there's a good chance I'll go there, right? So I can't afford to be put off the ship. Tejio grows excited, and I smile at his enthusiasm. The all blue? Isn't that? Usopp questions and points over slyly to Sanji, and I nod. I would like to get away from here as soon as we can, Nami points out. Yeah, if we're spotted, and they launch a salvo at us, Usopp agrees with her, thinking of Mary. Then again, given the circumstances, we have to send this boy back, don't we, Sanji? She asks our cook. I'm just taking him back to his ship, that's all. Luffy, give us a hand. Sanji asks him, and I step out. As Luffy and Tejio walk over to Sanji, I throw my spare transponder snail at the cook, who catches it. Keep a hold of it, I'll bring you back, just press 5, I tell him, and he nods. Once noontime comes, this fog will clear up. Later than that, and it will be too dangerous for us to wait around. Nami informs the cook. That's long enough. Sanji agrees, seeming serious as Tejio and Luffy stand beside each other. Luffy places his hand on Tejio's shoulder. How much are you planning to help him? She asks him. I'm just going to have a little look for myself at what the galley of a marine ship looks like, Sanji denies. Sanji, Luffy calls out, and Sanji walks over, placing his hand on Luffy's shoulder. Hold on tight, I warn them. Teleport. I hold my arm out, and the 3 disappear from sight. Man, what a pain. Luffy's gonna get us caught, I mutter. One Piece. ALABASTA arc. I sit in the kitchen at the table with Robin as I read through one of my books. Bored as we all wait for Sanji and Luffy to come back when I hear a crash. I shake my head, knowing it's Luffy, and see a dent of a person, most likely Sanji, appear in the wall. Chopper runs over to look as Zoro stays napping by the wall. There's some muttering. Nami and Usopp run out to look at the damage. You've damaged the Going Merry again, huh? Usopp screams. Oh, Usopp, Nami, sorry. The Marines saw me, so we had to come back in a hurry. Luffy chuckles nervously. Huh? Hand on. What do you mean by that? Nami snaps at the rubber idiot. This is a precious ship that we got from Kaya. How many times do I have to tell you that? Usopp shouts at Luffy. We can't stand around like this, Usopp. Sanji, we're leaving immediately, Nami orders them. Yes, Nami my love. Sanji answers right away. I can't move. Dummies, I mutter and hear Robin giggle to herself. Zoro! Nami screams, waking the swordsman with a start, and he grumbles as he strolls out of the kitchen. I get up, steering the ship away before the marine fleet moves or spots us. One Piece. Post-Alabasta Arc 4th Adventure. It's been 2 days, and it's rained the whole time since we sailed out of the fog into the rain. I sit in the kitchen at the table with Luffy, who keeps complaining. Robin, who is reading the same book, and Nami, who is reading the paper. Sanji is in the kitchen doing the dishes as Usopp sits on the crate fiddling with his gadgets. Chopper is at the helm, leaving Zoro outside on watch in the rain. I'm sick of this, Luffy complains as he lies his head on the table, with my playing cards spewed across the table. He slams his hands down, making a large bang as he throws his arms into the air. When is this rain going to stop? He quietens down, sulking as he leans on the table again. Hey, Usopp, have you got anything fun? Huh? I've got a firework we could launch, but just one. Do you want to? Usopp asks as he holds out the small firework. Do I? Luffy exclaims, growing excited. Don't do it. What if there's a hostile ship nearby or something? Nami points out as she turns the page. I guess you're right. Usopp agrees and puts the firework back. Luffy gapes in, upset, and falls back onto the table, looking over to Robin as she reads. He gets up and moves over to her. What's that book you've been reading this whole time? He asks her, to the surprise of the others. Huh? Something the matter? He asks the others. And no, it's nothing. They all deny it, and Robin closes the book, pushing it in front of the captain. The book is called Rainbow Mist. It's a novel based on some adventures this person had in an unusual region of the sea. Robin explains the plot simply. Adventures, huh? That sounds interesting. Luffy marvels as he picks up the book when Zoro comes in wearing a ruined cloak with a hood he takes down once he enters. Hey, I saw an island, Zoro announces. Really? Yahoo! Luffy exclaims and runs out of the room. Nami and Usopp fall, and I laugh at their overreaction. What's with you guys? Zoro asks them. It's nothing, I reply and shake my head, closing my eyes as Zoro kisses my forehead. One Piece. Post-Alabasta arc. We soon arrive at the island, but we don't dock at the harbor. We sailed to a cliff that we can reach by going up the mast. Zoro and I volunteered to stay behind with Robin, who is in the kitchen at the moment. I sit in between his legs as he tries napping. The others all climb up the mast onto the cliff above. Okay, keep close watch on the ship. Nami orders us from above. Yeah, you got it, Zoro replies as he twirls a piece of hair. Want to take a nap? I ask him, and he chuckles as he leans on the railing and wraps his arms around my waist, and we fall asleep in the nice weather. I start to feel drops of water. I peek my eye open to see it starting to rain and remove Zoro's arms as he wakes, and the rain begins to come down. My hair starts to stick to my face as it gets wet along with my white striped shirt that shows my red braids up and looks up at me, staring at my chest. Like something you see? I ask him, making him blush, and I turn around, about to change when the rain stops, and the others return. Hello, my love. Sanji greets me as he climbs the mast, seeing my white striped top and red bra. Sanji, my face is up here, not down there, I tell him, pointing at my face. So, tonight there's a fireworks festival we're all going to. It can be yours and Zoro's official first date. Nami squeals and I look at her, a little confused. What, date? I exclaim as she pushes me towards our room. Zoro, look nice, or I'll make you pay, Nami threatens him. What the hell is going on? I hear him shout. I second that, I add as she closes the door behind us. One Piece. Post-Alabasta arc. I walk, standing in our room in a dress I didn't even know I owned. It's a beautiful white cotton dress with 3 skirts making it appear bigger down to my mid-thighs trailing down to my feet, and my leather jacket and black high heels. Nami finishes putting on red lipstick and black smoky eyeshadow. I put my hair into a high bun and place an old necklace I took from my mother's jewelry box as a kid. I look at myself, impressed by Nami's choice, as she looks at her work and goes to take my necklace off, but I stop her. It was my mother's. I think it's appropriate, considering my dad got this for her when they were married, I tell her, and she nods. It actually goes with it too, nice choice. She compliments, and we head out as it gets dark and time for the festival. One Piece. Post-Alabasta arc. I walk out and see the boys and Robin all waiting for Nami and me. They turn at the sound of the door and look surprised. What, do I look weird? I ask them, looking down at my dress. I mean, I know white is meant to mean pure, and I'm the furthest thing from pure, but Nami said I show? Zoro cuts me off as he cups my cheeks and smashes his lips to mine. I kiss him back, wrapping my arms around his neck, feeling his raised pulse. Hey, stop that. I want to see fireworks, Luffy growls, and we pull apart. Okay, let's go. Usopp cuts in, pushing Luffy towards the mast to stop him from hitting my boyfriend. One Piece. Post-Alabasta arc. I walk around all of the stalls with the others, my hand intertwined with Zoro's as we walk, looking around at the mask, food, games and toys. I stop at one of the mask stalls and pick up one that looks like a female skull with all different colors drawn around it, with pink and red roses at the top. How much? Zoro asks the vendor, who looks over at the mask I'm holding. 10 berries. He answers, and Zoro hands over the money. I look at the swordsman as he pulls me along to join the others. "Since when do you have money?" I ask him, and he points to Nami as she pays for food for us all. "Seriously, but you just go rid of your debt. Worth it." He grins, and I smile as he pecks my nose, making me crinkle. Adorable assassin. "SXY swordsman," I reply, and we go into a kiss again, but Chopper comes running over. "Guys, the fireworks are about to start," he cheers, and we follow him to the front by the railing. I wrap my arm around his waist as he wraps his arm around my waist, and the fireworks begin. I look up, watching all of the fireworks go off. Zoro cups my chin, turning my face towards his, and he leans in. I meet his lips as the fireworks explode in the sky above us. "How pretty," Nami beams, and I pull away, placing my head on his shoulder as we stand there. I see Sanji go to wrap his arm around Nami, and she slaps his hand out as more fireworks of all colors light up the night sky. It soon seems to finish for a second when a slight whizzing sound comes from behind us. We all turn to look to see a small firework going off by the mountain, drawing all of our attention. "What was that shabby firework just now?" I ask when suddenly a giant shell shoots up, exploding into a shower of light as they rain down like falling stars. I watch in awe, but they soon disappear. It is quiet for a second before the crowds burst into cheers, and I laugh as I squeeze Zoro, who wraps his other arm around me, kissing my cheek. One Piece. Post-Alabasta arc. I finish changing into my black pajamas and pull my hair out, letting it fall down to my waist. I shake it out, letting it settle into its usual flat form. I wipe off the makeup as Nami goes into bed and Robin lies on the couch, and I join Zoro in mine as he hates sleeping on the floor with Sanji ever again. We cuddle, and I smile as he kisses my forehead, and wondering how I got so lucky to have such great friends and boyfriends, I close my eyes, not worrying about Luffy being on the lookout as he stuffed his face well at the festival. One Piece. Post-Alabasta arc 5th adventure. It's been 3 days, and I head off back onto the sea as the log pose sets. I yawn a little into my striped jumper sleeve as I was up with Zoro as he was on watch last night. I hear Zoro sneeze and cuddle closer to him. He unwraps his arm around me, grabbing his sword. I look over my shoulder to see Robin coming over but stops with a dark blue jacket in her hands. "I told you. Don't stand beside me," he tells her, with a death grip on his Wado Ichimonji. "You're going to catch a cold dressed like that," she points out. "People who catch colds are people who let their minds guard down," he retorts. "Well, I wonder if someone somewhere is spreading stories about Zoro, the pirate hunter," she replies. "I've never once called myself a pirate hunter," he grumbles. "Then, I wonder who gave you a name that was as cool as that?" I jumped in with a big grin, knowing full well who it was. "Who knows, it doesn't matter to me," he replies with a frown, and she walks back to her chair with the table on the other side of the deck as the others at the ship's rear blow up stuff. "Such a meanie," I mutter, snuggling into his chest. "I don't know what you mean," he mutters back as he closes his eyes again. "Sure, you don't." I sigh as we both relax through the constant booming from the cannon in the background. I close my eyes and begin to drift back into sleep as I settle into Zoro's chest. One Piece. Post-Alabasta arc 6th adventure. It's been an eventful week with being chased by the Marines again, finding an island with an old moneylender and his goats who became a pirate, and a mysterious rainbow mist that Robin was reading. But tonight seems worse than most of it as I look up at the night sky, glad it's not raining or the sound of thunder as I bite my nail, feeling the pit in my stomach as tomorrow is the anniversary of my mother's death. I hope Luffy doesn't remember, because I want to lie in bed all day like I do every year. I pull the blanket around me, covering my fluffy white jumper pajamas as I look down at the newspaper clipping from years ago that arrived hours after the death of my mother. I grumble as I look at the headline, "Deadly Anna Dead." The article went on about her mysterious death, and theories on who could have done it, and even comments from Marines on how glad she was dead. I kept it as a reminder of my goal to find the man or woman who murdered my mother in cold blood when I was meters away. I may have only been 3 years old, but I still regret not being able to do anything. Morning soon arrives, and the first to come out is Sanji, who goes straight to the kitchen, and soon Nami and Robin walk out of our room. I start to climb out of the crow's nest as the rest start to emerge and head straight for my room, wanting to sleep and curl up in bed. "Dakota, my love, would you like something to eat?" Sanji asks me as he pops out of the kitchen. I'm not hungry, I tell him, wrenching the door open. Are you sure? He asks me politely, but I glare at him with my mood, feeling a little of my conqueror's haki slipping out. I said I'm not hungry. I snap at him and slam the door behind me, shaking the ship violently. Ah! Be careful! Usopp cries out from outside as I head for my room. One Piece. Post-Alabasta Arc 3rd Pav. Everyone stands in stunned silence unchanged from their usual Dakota, who is always smiling one way or another. Sure they've seen her angry, like when she beat up the Marines trying to steal Zenny's money or at that moron mayor and his men. What was that about? Nami asks and looks at the equally shocked Zoro, who shakes his head. I don't know. He answers. What's the date? Luffy asks, jumping to the higher level with Nami, Robin and Sanji. 27th. Why? Robin asks him, and Luffy frowns, looking down. It's the day Dakota's mum died. He tells them, and they all look in shock. Zoro snaps out of it and goes to open the door. I wouldn't. Even as we were growing up, we couldn't get her out of bed. She'll be like that all day. It's best to leave her. She's unpredictable. One time, she threw Ace out of her bedroom window. Zoro ignores him and opens the door, disappearing down to the women's quarters, and everyone holds their breath, waiting for something to happen. One Piece. Post-Alabasta Arc. Zoro walks down the steps into the women's quarter and sees Dakota under the covers of her bed. He can hear her sobs as he walks towards her. The floorboard squeaks a little, alerting her to his presence. He watches as she looks up at him, her eyes all red and puffy from all the crying. Zoro strolls towards her, seeing her trying to hide her face as she pulls up the covers. He reaches the side of her bed and pulls the covers away from her face. It's okay to cry. He tells her and pulls her into his chest. She crumbles as he wraps his arms around her. She clings onto his shirt, the tears falling down her cheeks like a waterfall as he moves onto the bed, and they lie there, Dakota sobbing in his arms. One Piece. Post-Alabasta Arc. Above deck. Everyone stands around the door waiting to hear something or Zoro comes stumbling out, but nothing. Luffy lets out a sigh of relief. So, Luffy, how bad was Ace? Sanji asks him, and Luffy grimaces. I mean, he was okay, but he did knock down a few trees. He answers, and they all look in shock at their friend's strength. She'll be okay tomorrow, but she should call her dad. I remember when he was staying in the village, I didn't see him or Dakota all day when I asked. That's when Ben told me. I see, even all these years later, and they still miss her. I can understand that. Nami comments, and Usopp, Chopper, and even Sanji and Robin nod. They all have lost one of their parents. There was sadness around the group of usually happy pirates as they thought about the loved ones they'd lost. Luffy thought of Sabo, his sworn older brother, who they still mourned and wished he could see what trouble his siblings were causing. Nami thought of Belmere, her adopted mother, who she wished could have seen her fulfill her dream. Usopp thought of his mother, Banchina, who he wanted could see the man he is now. Sanji thought of his mother, Sora, who he missed every day and thought of when he would cook for his friends. Chopper thought of Hirulik, his father figure. He wished he could have seen his dream fulfilled thanks to Dr. Koreha and Wapol being sent flying. Robin thought of her mother, Olvia, and the people of Ohara that died needlessly at the Marines' hands, and she vowed to find the truth about the Void Century. All of them have lost someone. All of them have each other. One Piece. Post-Alabasta Arc. The next day, Dakota seemed fine, as if nothing had happened. Zoro explained that she didn't want pity or sad looks, and everyone understood. They all had each other's back, no matter what. One Piece, Jaya Arc. Dakota's Pav. Luffy sits on his favorite seat. The figurehead of the Going Merry is Chopper. Sanji, and Usopp stand on his right, and Nami, Robin and I, in my striped black and white short jumpsuit and sandals, stand on his left as we look at our captain, who stares ahead at the horizon as Zoro stands on the other side of the ship by the kitchen, lifting weight. Anyway, that sure was an interesting place, Luffy states as if we all enjoyed it. Really, I've had enough of that ship graveyard, Nami tells him. Well, it's not like I want to live there, but I want to visit from time to time, he argues lightly. Was it really that nice? Chopper asks him. Rain? Zoro questions as he stops, and I look up as small pieces seem to fall around us. It's not rain, Sanji says as we move down to the main deck. Hail? Usopp wonders, and I see something colossal heading straight for us. No, something's falling. I shout as I point up to the sky as a large ship comes crashing towards us. What? They all shout as it comes crashing into the water next to us, causing large waves from the impact. The ship rocks on the waves as more pieces continue to shower down on us. Hang on. Hold on to the ship. Zoro shouts over the loud noise as the waves crash around us. What? What is it? What is it? Nami cries out as pieces of debris keep falling from the sky. Dream. Yeah, this must be a dream. Usopp deludes himself as he and Chopper fly around and smacks their heads together. Hey, more stuff's falling. Be careful, Sanji shouts, and I look up, too, seeing the smaller pieces of wood keep falling, but it seems to be thinning out. Turn the rudder. The rudder, Nami yells up at Zoro as he holds onto the mast. No way that'll work in these waves, Zoro snaps back at her. Luffy, protect the ship. You can't take this any longer, Sanji orders Luffy. Got it. Luffy agrees. Hang on, I might be able to, I shout and thrust my hands up into the air, feeling my eyes turn white. Usopp? Luffy asks the sniper, and I stop, looking over to see him sitting, trying to stay calm. Cast aside your worries. Calmly close your eyes. When you open your eyes, a quiet morning lies before you. He opens his eyes and faces a skeleton. He screams as it lands on him and throws it away in fear. Bones. You idiot, don't throw it this way, Nami screams. My eyes turn white, and a gust of wind shoots out of my hand, pushing the debris away from the ship and soon settling, and the waves calm. Why the heck did a ship fall from the sky? Luffy questions, and I remember something from one of my father's stories as I was growing up. How weird, Usopp shivers. There's nothing in the sky, Zoro notices. Oh man, the Grand Line is a crazy place. First, we see a ship graveyard inside a rainbow mist. And then a ship falls from the sky. Usopp shivers as he and Chopper cling to each other. Ah, Nami mutters and looks down at my old log pose. What's wrong, Nami? Sanji asks her. What are we gonna do? Our log pose is broken. It's stuck pointing upwards. Nami complains, and I look up, thinking about the stories. That's not it. It was updated by an island with stronger magnetism. If the log pose needle is pointing upwards, that means the log has been caught by Sky Island. Robin concludes and looks up. Sky Island? The others all exclaim, and I gasp, remembering the stories from my childhood. What's that? Nami asks. A floating island, Luffy beams. Did that ship and those bones fall from there? Usopp asks in fright. But I can't see anything like an island in the sky, Zoro argues as he looks up at the sky full of smaller clouds. That's not how it works. I point out, and the others all look at me. It's more like an ocean that's floating above our heads. A sea? Nami questions in disbelief, but Luffy, Usopp and Chopper seem thrilled about the next adventure. I'm getting more and more confused, Sanji comments. Yahi. There's a sea with an island floating in the sky? Alright. Let's head there right away. Luffy cheers as he points up to the sky. Hey, guys! Turn the rudder upwards. Upwards rudder full. Usopp joins in, and Robin covers Luffy's mouth to stop them from spouting nonsense. In any case, you can't turn upwards, Captain, Sanji points out. To be honest, I've never seen the Sky Island, nor do I know much about it, Robin confesses. Same, my dad used to tell me stories as a kid, I tell them. Yeah, it's impossible for an island or a sea to float in the air. So the log pose really must be broken. Nami argues, and I shake my head. No, Navigator. Our concern right now should not be the log pose, it should be how we get to the sky. No matter what weird situations this ship gets caught up in, or how panicked we get, we must not doubt the log pose. This is an ironclad rule. Robin tells her, and she looks at my old log pose. What we should doubt is rather the common sense in our heads. There's definitely an island where it's pointing. Sis, did Shanks really tell you stories about an island in the sky? Luffy asks, and I nod. He cheers with the others. Yeah, Dad used to say he went when he and Mum were younger. If I remember right, he called it Skypia. I tell him, and he runs off with Usopp, up to no good, as Robin goes to the coffin, opening up. What's that woman doing? Opening the coffin? Chopper gasps as he hides behind the mast with Nami, who keeps pouting at the log pose, and Robin pieces the skull back together. "Can you learn something from that?" Zoro asks her as he stands with his arm around my waist as we watch. "I don't know," she answers. "You got strange interests," Nami exclaims from her hiding spot. "A pretty woman and the dead, now that's an interesting combination," Sanji comments. "You would," I mutter as I watch him crouch by the wooden coffin's side. Where's Luffy and Usopp?" Zoro asks, and I point at the broken ship to the two morons. "Jump, Luffy," I hear Usopp tell him, and Luffy jumps over to the other party of the ship. "Okay," Luffy yells back. "What are they doing now?" Zoro asks, scratching the back of their head. "Exploration, they said," Chopper answers, still hiding. "Oh, restoration complete," Sanji announces, and I look over at the skull. "The holes here are man-made," Robin says. "I see, then this guy was pierced there and died, huh?" Sanji guesses. "No, these are indications of medical treatment. It's craterization, isn't it, doctor?" she asks the little reindeer. "Yeah, in the past, they made holes in the skull in order to constrain a brain tumor. But that's a medical technique from very long ago," he confirms. "That's right. It's been at least 200 years since he died. He was in his early 30s, he fell sick while traveling on the sea and died. The reason his teeth remained in good condition compared to his other bones is because tar was rubbed onto them. This custom is characteristic of some areas in the South Blue. So considering history, that was a ship for an exploration party from the past." Robin explains, gets the book she brought, and flips to one of the pages. Here it is. The Saint Brice of Brice, a kingdom in the South Blue. It set sail 208 years ago. She shows us the picture, and it's almost the same. "That's the same ship as the one that fell," Nami confirms. "Come to think of it, it has a symbol like that." Zoro agrees. "This ship probably wandered in the sky for at least 200 years, I comment as I look at the picture. "It reminds me of one of the stories Dad used to tell me." "You can find out all that just by looking at bones?" Nami asks Robin. "Dead people may not speak, but they do hold information. If the ship was for an exploration party, it should still hold various records and evidence," Robin points out. "Yeah, but the ship sank in the sea," Nami says and looks over at the sinking ship. She rushes to the side, and I see why. Luffy's sinking into the water, with Usopp standing on a submerging piece of wood. "What are you guys doing?" "Luffy, hang in there, help me," Luffy shouts, and Usopp jumps in and drags him back towards the ship. And Zoro pulls him up with a rope. Once he gets onto the boat, he has a massive grin. "Hey, everyone, I did it. I found something incredible. Look at this." He unrolls the piece of paper, which seems old as it has tears around the edges. Though it looks crudely drawn, I remember something similar, but I can't remember where. A map of the Sky Island. We all gasp in surprise, and Luffy hands it over to Nami, who looks over the map. "Skypia." She reads over. See, Luffy grins. "Dakota, it means your dad's stories are true. There is an island in the sky," she confirms, and the boys cheer and start doing a little dance. "Alright, the Sky Island exists. It's a dream island. We can go to a dream island. A dream island." They cheer as they dance around the deck. "Don't get so carried away. This only means it exists, nothing else," she tells them, and their mood dampens. "Stop with that look. We still need to find a way up there." She punches into the side of the beaten mast angrily. "Listen, Luffy, I'm telling you, we don't know how to get there." Nami, please treat the ship with care," Usopp mutters over her, shouting. "You're the navigator. Figure something out," Luffy shouts at her. Nami's cute when she's angry, too. Sanji coos as we watch the two argue. "There are some things you can't just figure out, you know," she snaps right back. "I don't care, we're going to the sky," Luffy shouts, and she smacks him over the head onto the floor. "This is getting us nowhere. In any case, we can't move the ship forward this way. What we need now is information," as Robin said. "If a huge ship like that really went to the sky, then there's definitely a way for this ship to go there as well. Let's somehow pull out whatever records remain in the ship," she announces. "But the ship has completely sunk," Usopp points out. "If it sank, then we'll salvage it," she grins, and I shake my head. Alright. Usopp and Luffy cheer. As if we could. Zoro snaps at them. What's salvage? Chopper asks Robin as he stands next to her as she sits on the steps. It means to pull up a sunken ship. But it won't work since that ship is too big. Robin tells him with a smile. But it seems Usopp has an idea as he starts tinkering with some of the barrels, making them into diving suits, and Zoro, Sanji, and Luffy get into one each. Well, you really make us do reckless things. Luffy smirks from inside the makeshift diving suits. Nami, I'll be sure to find a clue to the sky, Sanji exclaims. I'm counting on you, Nami winks at him. Worry not, there are no defects in my design. Usopp boasts, and a giant fish jumps out of the sea, eating one of the birds. Then, I wish you good luck. Nami waves them off, and they jump off the side into the water, diving down with air hoses wired up onto a reel as they go down further. Oh, boy, I hear Luffy mutter through the hose. This is Chopper. Everyone, please respond, he says as he holds onto the brake to keep it steady. This is Luffy. There are tons of monsters down here, over. He sounds off. Is this a giant sea snake's nest? Zoro asks next. This is Sanji. Whoa, they look this way, he adds in. Okay, Nami replies as I sit on the railing, kicking my legs back and forth. Okay, Usopp gulps. Stop being a baby, they'll be fine, I tell him as I look over my shoulder. Chopper, hold the brake tight. Okay, Nami warns him. Okay, he replies. Phew, I'm glad I didn't go. Usopp sighs as he wipes sweat from his brow. I wish I could, but you ran out of those barrels. I sigh, and they all look at me in surprise. I thought you could swim in water? Nami asks, and I shake my head. One of my demons can, but because, of course, it's one of my weaknesses, I can only last a few seconds to a minute at most, I explain. Seems useful. Robin comments. I suppose, but it ain't half a pain when I was trying to train. My grandmother kept throwing me into the ocean, and I drowned 12 times, I reply, thinking of my training with a shudder. Salvage, salvage, I hear shouting, and it comes closer as we all look around to look as a more giant ship coming towards us. What the heck is that? Usopp asks as he looks through one of his goggles as they come closer, still shouting and smacking together, cymbal getting louder when a final whistle goes longer as they come to a halt. Sir, I hear men shouting from the ship. Is this the area where a ship sank? A voice asks from the other ship, which looks ridiculous with a monkey figurehead. Sir, boss, the men reply, and an ape-like man stands on the ship's side facing away from up, all dramatic. By boss, they mean me. He turns around, shouting. Prepare to salvage the ship. The sunken ship belongs to me, the king of salvagers, and the boss of the Masira pirates. He yells again, with his men cheering him on. Dummies, I mutter as I watch them. Oh, boy, weirdos at a time like this, Nami mutters. Hey, you, what are you guys doing there? This is my turf, he demands. Your turf? Nami asks him. That's right. Every ship that sinks in this territory belongs to me. You haven't touched anything that's mine, have you, huh? He asks us. It seems we're in for it now. Looks like he's going to salvage the ship, Robin concludes, seeming calm. Yeah, that's what it sounds like, Usopp mumbles as he cowers behind the reel. Then what? Doesn't this work for us? Nami questions, and I shake my head. Quit mumbling. Answer my question, Masira orders us, and I smirk as an idea comes to mind. Excuse me, can I ask you a question? I ask him in the most innocent voice I can muster. You're asking me a question? That's fine. Ask me anything, he replies quickly, seems a little simple-minded. It looks like you're going to salvage the ship. Is that right? I ask him with a fake smile. Looks, he repeats and whistles, clearly getting the wrong idea, which I wanted as he throws us a smile. Hey, do you find me that monkeyful? He asks me. Monkeyful? I repeat the word. That means handsome, do you think I am? He asks me, and I grin. Yeah, I answer, and he gets a goofy look on his face. Oh, come on, stop it. He blushes, clearly falling for it. But there isn't such a word, is there? Usopp asks quietly. So, are you gonna salvage it? He asks the monkey man. Of course. If there's a sunken ship in front of me, I'll salvage it, I'm that kind of man. If it's on the water, I'll sink it and salvage it. I'm that kind of man. There's no ship that we can't salvage, he boasts. Then, is it okay if we watch you do it? I ask him, patting my eyes at them. Oh, I see, is salvaging work new to you? He chuckles. Okay, go ahead and observe it. Alright. Well done, Dakota. Let's see how things go, for now, everyone. Nami tells us that men come up from the water, poorly beaten. Be careful. I hear faint voices from the ship. Boss, there's trouble, one of the crew warns Masira. What's wrong? Masira asks as he looks over his shoulder. The members who went into the sea to set the cradle are, one of the crew tries to tell him. Did they get hurt by sea kings? He asks, but I know who it is. Well, it looks like they were beaten up by someone, he replies, and I sigh at those morons. What? Masira shouts and turns around, facing away from us. Are you saying there's someone down there in the sea? Those idiots, Nami mutters. This isn't good. Usopp quivers in fear as Masira turns around, facing us, looking angry. Then, hey, you guys. There's someone in the sea. Be careful. Masira warns us as Nami and Usopp shake, thinking we were found out. Thanks. I wave at him calmly. Guys, hurry up and set the cradle. Let's start salvaging. He shouts his orders, raising his arms in the air. Aye, sir, his men shout back, and he grows goofy again as he keeps waving at us, though Nami doesn't help as she waves back. He's waving at notice the air supply, Usopp. Nami warns him as he stays pumping air for the boys. I know, he mutters, and I jump down behind the railing walking over to Nami. Hey, you guys, imagine that they're pumpkins. Don't get nervous, just because people are watching, okay? He tells his men, and I frown, not liking the thought of being looked at as a pumpkin. Aye, sir, his men seem to like the idea as they get to work happily. Drop the cradle. He orders them. Aye, sir. They reply and start lowering it down into the water. And men in suits start dropping it down after it into the water. Watch out for the mysterious enemy. Masira warns his men as they begin to dive. I wonder if they're doing this out of pride or something. Usopp muses as we watch their little show. They're trying to give us a show, I guess. Nami looks over at me, and I smile back at her. Get moving. Masira orders his men as they move around. Aye, sir, they reply back, getting ready. Cradle set, confirmed. I hear from the ship. It seems the divers are watching. What's going on? Luffy yells, and Usopp and Nami cover, trying to stop them from blowing our covers as Masira looks over at us, and there's a tense silence for a moment. What's that monkey? What's that monkey for? Usopp asks him as he points at the figurehead. Oh, this one? He giggles. You have a discerning eye. You're right. This is no ordinary prow. They all sigh in relief as he doesn't seem to suspect anything. Launch Barco Hunter. Ropes begin to attach, and they lever the figurehead into the air and then down into the water. Whoa! Usopp gasps as it all goes on. Wow, amazing. Chopper marvels at it. It really is amazing. Usopp agrees with the reindeer. What is? Nami and I ask them, not seeing it. 40 meters to the target, 30 meters, 20, 10, Barco Hunter joint, completed, his divers say from the speaker. Alright, then, I'll start blowing air, Masira says back as he picks up a hose. Aye, sir, his men cheer. What? No way, Nami mutters as he takes a deep breath. Is he going to breathe into that and lift the ship up? That's crazy. He blows into the hose, forming a giant air bubble that travels down. The body of the ship has risen, one of the divers confirms, and Masira stops. Now, pull it up, he orders his men. Aye, sir, they reply. Send more air, on the double, he orders, and there's a cry from one of the speakers. Boss, the crew that's in the water, one of the men shouts. What's the matter? What happened, guys? Masira shouts. There's someone in the ship. The diver cries out, and there seems to be a fight on the ship. Masira jumps up onto the railing shouting. How dare they hurt my guys? Who the hell are they? He shouts and poses with his men holding a background of flames. Well, we're not taking pictures or anything, so, I tell him. What? He yells, stopping the pose. Oh, he posed for us to take pictures, Usopp mutters. Boss. Help. More cries come from the divers. I'm coming. Keep on working on the salvaging operation. Masira orders them and jumps off, diving down. Aye, sir, his men reply, and he swims down. I walk off up the stairs towards the kitchen, about to open the door when there's shaking like an earthquake. I run towards the side to look down to see a large shadow moving below us. Hey, underneath the ship, Nami gulps at the colossal shadow. Why yeah, there's something down there. Usopp shivers as the shadow grows closer to the surface before bursting up, rocking the ships a little as a giant tortoise bursts out of the water. What's this? What is this thing? Nami shrieks, and I walk down to see in its mouth the air hoses and the ship in its mouth. Boss! Masira's men scream from their ship. What is this? What is it? What? A continent! Nami shrieks, and I walk over, placing my arm around her shoulder for comfort. I don't know, I can't see anything, This is a dream, Usopp cries as he covers his eyes. A dream? Really? Chopper beams with disbelief. Phew, it's just a dream, the three cowards sigh and go to walk away. Oh, were they all eaten along with the ship? Robin questions as I watch the giant tortoise munch on the ship. Ah, you don't have to spell it out, Usopp exclaims as he jumps over to her. Yep, definitely were eaten, I confirm. Stop saying that, Usopp cries out. Yes, I see the air supply hoses going into its mouth. Robin agrees, making Chopper start running around the deck, screaming. Luffy and the others were really eaten, Chopper screams, and I sit on the railing, watching him, ensuring he doesn't hurt himself. It was you who made them go to the Grand Line seabed, you said it'd be okay even though you really didn't have any idea that's why they. Usopp scolds Nami, and Chopper seems to calm down as he walks over and holds onto my leg. I pat him on his hat in comfort. You're right. Nami agrees and looks over at the situation. I'm sorry, she says, and I shake my head at her. You've got the right idea, but Usopp weeps, and it all goes terrible again as the giant tortoise starts to leave, pulling the air supply hoses and moving the ship. I jolt a little, gripping onto the railing to keep myself from falling overboard. Unless we cut the hoses, we'll be dragged into the depths of the ocean with the ship, Robin warns us. No, Dakota. You're strong, aren't you? Do something, Usopp orders, and I get out my knife and cut the hoses, but Nami and Usopp pull me back. I meant the giant turtle. Well, it's giant, I snap back, taking steps towards the reel, but they keep trying to stop me as they pull me back as the tortoise drags us along with the Marissa pirates. Okay, you guys, pull those ropes and save our boss. Show your pride and honor as Masira pirates. One of the men shouts, and they start making monkey noises. Our boss is still alive. That's right. Our unity is tested at a time like this. Usopp smiles, and I shake my head as they let me go. Dakota. Nami calls out my name. Yeah? I ask her. Cut the hoses to ensure our safety, Nami orders, and I laugh at her. Are you a devil? Usopp shrieks. She's a devil, Chopper shrieks. If that's the case, we're practically sisters. I joke when suddenly it's like someone blew out the sun, as it turns almost as dark as night. What's going on? Usopp whimpers, and I look around at the dark clouds blocking out the sun. It all feels familiar, like the stories my dad told me, but almost different, like I've read it somewhere. It became night, Chopper shrieks and runs over to me, holding onto my leg, shivering a little. Can't be, it's not that late yet, Nami says in shock as she looks at her pocket watch. Then, what's going on? Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Usopp shouts as he cowers on the floor. How ominous, this sudden night is a sign that monsters will appear. They'll sink our ship, hurry up and save our boss. The men on the other ship say, and I grow nervous at the eerie similarities when suddenly Luffy comes shooting out of the water with something on his back. Luffy, we call out as he lands on the deck behind us. Nami runs over to him, crouching down and smacks him, trying to wake him. Luffy, what happened? Are you dead? She asks him as she slaps him, and Zoro and Sanji jump onto the deck. Zoro, Sanji, we call out, and I run over to Zoro, hugging him, seeing they're struggling for breath. Set sail. Hurry up and get out of here, Zoro tells us as they try controlling their breath, and I kiss Zoro on the cheek, glad he's okay. He's crazy, Sanji mutters. I'm glad you were safe. Yeah. Let's get away from that turtle anyway. Usopp quivers with tears falling down along with Chopper. Turtle? No, there was a monkey in the sea? Zoro argues. He must be one of the sea animals. Sanji agrees with the swordsman. He was getting along with Luffy for a while, Zoro says, and I nod, seeing that happening. The NJI agrees. But when he saw this stuff that we got from the ship, he suddenly started going on a rampage, Zoro tells us. He went on a rampage like a gorilla, Sanji adds. His name's Masira, he's a salvager. But it's amazing that you guys could escape from that turtle's mouth, Usopp tells them. Turtle? What turtle? Zoro asks, and I turn his head around, and Sanji looks over his shoulder at the giant tortoise. Something's wrong with the turtle. His mouth's staying open. Oh, that's why you could escape, Usopp points out as we look over at the tortoise with its mouth hanging open, and they get to their feet in shock. Whoa, what the hell is that? They exclaim. Hey, get a clue. That thing ate you in the ship. Usopp snaps at them, and they get moving, dropping the sacks of goodies from the ship, and finally, Luffy wakes up. Whoa, why's it nighttime? Luffy asks as he looks around. Luffy, give us a hand. We're gonna set sail. I tell him as I pull on the rope with Zoro pulling the other when suddenly Masira comes jumping out of the water, yelling before landing on the side. Don't think you can get away after stealing treasure from my turf, Masira shouts at us. Treasure? There was treasure? Nami asks Luffy, all giddy. Yeah, there was a lot. Luffy grins, and Masira seems to notice that it's turned dark and looks over to his ship with his quivering men. B-boss. Behind you, they shout. What is it? He asks and looks over at the giant shadows of people with what appear to be wings on their backs. I look in shock as I remember where I know about this, and I feel the tears falling down my cheeks, and I fall to the floor remembering the words written in the book I used to read every night for years. Monsters, Masira and Luffy scream, and the boys all run to the oars, rowing for their lives as I try to calm myself down, but the memories of the stories my dad told me and the words written in my mother's journal she chronicled as a pirate apprentice. One Piece. Jaya arc. We make it out of the dark sky into the light, the boys drop down, and I wipe away my tears as I collect myself and get to my feet before anyone sees them. No way, Zoro huffs as he tries to catch his breath. No way can someone be that big, Usopp moans, and Sanji lights another cigarette. Man, the Grand Line is just one mystery after another. Today, too, Sanji comments. We saw a huge gallon fall from the sky. Zoro states, and I move over to him, kneeling in front of him. He opens his arms, and I curl up on his lap, wrapping my arms around his chest. The needle of the log pose is now pointing to the sky, Nami adds. A weird monkey appeared and salvaged the ship. Usopp joins in. Then, we saw a huge turtle that ate the whole ship, Chopper adds. Then, night came. Robin even joins in, and, at the end, we saw huge monsters who were dozens of times larger than the giants, Luffy gasps. Yeah, those guys scared even me. Masira agrees, and the others finally notice him, and the boys kick him off the ship. Beat it, they shout, and he goes flying, so we start moving again. One Piece. Jaya arc. In any case, those monsters were huge, Usopp says. Yeah, I don't ever want to see them again, Chopper says. You know, Chopper, if I went all out, I would have been able to beat them. Usopp boasts a big old lie. Really? Chopper buys into it as I walk past them. Yeah, right. I scoff as the boys show their treasure to Nami, who doesn't seem too happy with the haul. What on earth did you guys go into the water for? Nami complains as Luffy walks around in some rusty armor and holds a sword in his hands. I look over some of the stuff. Some seem valuable, and some seem a little like junk, though Nami still seems upset at the objects. This stuff is all junk, and I don't see any clues on how to get to the sky. Like I said, there was nothing, Zoro argues. Well, that's the truth, Nami. It was clear that the ship had already been plundered. Or perhaps that there was some sort of mutiny, and they killed each other. Sanji explains, and the stories of the Shandorians are even more accurate. Then, all the more reason that we need information. You see, if we are to go to the sky, that means what happened to that ship could happen to us. We need the information to stay alive. And what did you get? Rusty swords dishes, and a live octopus. Nami complains and starts trying to kick the pile of objects, but I pull her away. We need stuff like a journal or a sea chart. Luffy chooses this time to walk over as I let go of her a little around the waist. What's that, Luffy? She asks him, and he opens the helmet. Armor. Luffy answers happily, with a gleam in his eye, but Nami is not in the mood, and she punches him. He crashes to the floor with the rusty armor breaking into pieces. Whoa, she crushed the armor. I gape at her feat of strength. I got pretty seashells for you. Nami. Sanji coos at her as he holds up the shells as she walks over. I don't need them, you big dummy, she snaps at him. Nami's cute when she's mad, too. He swoons with hearts in his eyes. You'd better keep your distance from her right now, Usopp warns him as she walks up the steps towards Robin. Having a tough time? Robin asks her. It's only gonna get worse, really, they're all a bunch of idiots. Now we can't get to our destination, she snaps again. I resent that. Don't lug me in with these morons. Anyway, I know where we can go. I tell her, and everyone looks over to me. I hold out my hands with red bolts of lightning sparking before dark black smoke appears, and one of my mother's journals appears in my hands. The pages move on their own to the page I want, and I hand it over to our navigator as she reads the delicate handwriting. This says they witnessed the day turn to night and the giant shadows, so they headed to the nearest island, named Jaya. Nami says, and I take the book back, letting it disappear back into the bookcase in our room hidden amongst them. I see. We'll have to get there, but where is it? Any clue? She asks, and I shrug and point out in front of me as I see Robin holding an eternal pose. Here, Robin hands it over to the strawberry blonde. What? An eternal pose? This? Nami stutters, and I grin as she accepts the gift. I took it from those monkey people's ship earlier, just in case, she replies, and Nami seems to tear up a little. You're the only ones on my side. She beams at us, and I pat her on the back. Hey, we've got an octopus. Let's make some takoyaki. Luffy announces as he holds the octopus by its legs. It must be quite tough for you. Robin comments, and Nami looks at the eternal pose. Jaya. It must be their headquarters, I comment. Lucky us. Jaya? Are we going there? Luffy asks as he stuffs his face with takoyaki, and I pinch one, popping it into my mouth. That's your decision, you idiot, Nami snaps at our captain, who jumps down from the railing. Alright. Jaya rudder full. Jaya rudder full. Luffy orders but stops. Nami, which direction would that be? Starboard, she tells him. Chopper, give me a hand, Luffy says as Chopper runs over. Right, Chopper beams. Jaya speed ahead, Luffy exclaims with glee. Hey, hold on a second, if we go to that Jaya place, won't the log be updated there again? In other words, we won't be able to go to the Sky Island. Usopp makes a good point. What? Chopper exclaims. Stop Jaya rudder. Luffy shouts. Hey, Nami. What's the deal? He steps up to her. What? You're the one who decided to go to Jaya, Nami replies calmly. Oh, yeah, but I didn't think this'd happen, he argues. It's your fault that you didn't think of it, the log pose has always worked like this, right? She points out. Anyway, it takes a few days for the log to reset, that's plenty of time, I jump in. Yeah? Hey, listen up. Since I'm the captain, I'll decide where we're going. We're heading for Jaya, Luffy orders, and I shake my head as they stuff their faces. I wonder what kind of placenders, and I cock my head thinking of the lawless place for pirates and keep it to myself, not wanting to scare them. Nami, Dakota, Robin, your unprecedented takoyaki just for ladies are ready, Sanji swoons as he runs towards us with 3 plates as we eat. One piece. Jaya arc. It's been a day since we set out for Jaya. I grow more nervous because the last time I was there, I may have destroyed half of Mock Town when I got drunk and angry, which can be deadly, and I've been banned from the town. I wonder what kind of place Jaya is. Chopper ponders again as they eat more takoyaki. I heard it's called the Land of Meat, Luffy says as he eats. But you just wish it was, right? Well, it's true that I'm tired of eating takoyaki. Usopp complains as Sanji walks over to them and takes their food away. Then, don't eat them. Those were for the ladies, Sanji snaps at them, and they run after him. They said they wouldn't eat them, so what's the problem? Luffy yells as they chase after the cook down the stairs and around the mast. Give them back. Give us back the takoyaki. The boys shout as they chase after Sanji. "Shut up," he keeps saying back, and I look at Zoro as he stands next to me in my black and white striped long-sleeved jumpsuit, hat holding my hair in place and white wedged heel sandals, and I place my chin on his shoulder, seeing he's deep in thought. In any case, is there really an island in the sky? He wonders aloud. We've experienced enough to know by now that no matter how illogical things seem, it's not strange because it's this sea's logic, Robin says. I smile, knowing she's not wrong. I look down to see Sanji give the boys back their food, which calms them down before Luffy and Usopp run off to look out for the island, though we're hours away at least by now. Still don't see it, Usopp? Luffy asks him. No, I don't see it yet, he answers as he looks through his binoculars. This Jaya Island isn't that far, right? Zoro asks me. Yeah, we're not far off, since the weather's been stable for a while now, I answer as I walk down the steps with him as they try spotting the island. Then, Jaya must be a spring island, Luffy comments as he lies on the figurehead with Chopper sitting on the railing beside him. It feels nice and warm. Spring weather's nice. It looks like the seagulls are enjoying it, too. Chopper comments when I feel something heading towards us fast, and suddenly one of the seagulls falls onto the deck along with the other two. Ah! They were shot. He cries out and jumps down. I saunter up the steps to see the three birds twitching on the floor and feel like someone is watching me. Oh, let's make yakitori. Luffy cheers as Chopper kneels over the birds who are still alive. Shot? I didn't hear any gunfire, did you, Dakota? Usopp asks, and I shake my head, but I still can't shake the feeling of being watched. Look, I found a bullet, Chopper exclaims as he holds up his tweezers with a bullet. Considering the direction that they were flying, the bullet came from the direction the ship's facing. He points over in the direction of Jaya, which makes some sense if the marksmen are skilled enough and a powerful rifle is used. I can see them making the shot. Are you saying that shots came from an island that we can't even see yet? That's impossible, Chopper. Nami denies it as she joins us. But I was watching them the whole time, Chopper argues. Then what kind of eyesight, snipping skills and rifle do you think this sniper has? Usopp asks with a chuckle. Most likely perfect eyesight with some help from a scoop of some kind, and their snipping skills is perfect with some of the greatest, though they didn't kill the birds with direct hits. I'd say it was a test run at best, and the rifle would have to be powerful, long range and high quality, I answer as I look out into the water. Wait, you really think someone shot them? Nami asks me, and I nod. I do, and I think they're about to shoot again. Move to the right, I tell her, and she steps to the side away from me when a bullet skims past me, grazing my cheek, making it bleed, but it quickly heals. Seems someone wants me dead on Jaya, but I'm not sure who. Ah! That's all you can say when you get shot at, Chopper screams, and Zoro runs up, joined by Sanji and Robin. But I'm fine, it was only a graze, and it's healed. They're giving me a warning shot, that's all. I have a lot of enemies, both from my work as an assassin and being the daughter of a pirate. I'm okay. I'll just stay on the ship or something when we get there. I assure them as I wipe the blood from my cheek, and Zoro cups my cheeks, checking for anything. I'm okay. Really, I assure him, placing my hands over his, and we kiss quickly. Okay, I'll buy that for now, he replies, and I smile at him. His protectiveness is very SXY. Sanji, we got seagulls. Luffy picks up the dead birds, handing them over to the cook, who seems worried about me, but I smile to assure him. I could do with something to eat, I tell him, and he quickly picks them up, running off towards the kitchen. Works every time. I joke. Come on, seriously, I'm okay, and anyway I wasn't going to go into town anyway. Well, I do want my tattoos touched up and some new ones I've been planning, but I can always go in disguise, no one would know. Why would someone on Jaya want to kill you? Robin asks, and I shrug. Lots of reasons. I've done assassin jobs there a few times, started fights, stole from a few people, gambling debts, there's not mine, I always win, and a few other reasons. I count them off with my fingers, and they all look at me strangely. Jaya is a hot spot for pirates, it's practically lawless. Sounds fun. Zoro grins as he takes my hands in his. It is. I grin, biting my lip, teasing him a little, and the groan he lets out says I'm doing a grand job. Wow. Cool, I see a neat-looking town, Luffy exclaims as we get close enough to see Mock Town. Hey doesn't it look kinda like a resort? Usopp exclaims as he runs over with Chopper. Resort? Chopper exclaims, joining in. Hurry up, Mary. Luffy cheers as he taps the figurehead. Yeah, it makes me feel like I want to stick around a bit. Nami agrees with the boys, and Usopp seems to notice the pirate ships docked at the port. But is it my imagination, or do the ships lined up in the harbor look like pirate ships? Usopp questions as he looks over the ship, and Nami slaps his shoulder playfully. Silly Usopp, since when can pirate ships just openly line up in a harbor? Nami points out. Why, you're right. Usopp chuckles nervously. Help me, he's gonna kill me. Someone shouts from the town, scaring the cowardly trio. What's with this town? They cry out. I did warn you, it's a pirate hotspot. I tell them calmly as we dock in the port. Zoro, Luffy and Nami should go into town. Find what they can, I suggest, and Nami looks close to tears. Zoro, Luffy, protect Nami, this place is dangerous. Okay, go it, sis, Luffy agrees with a grin, and Zoro nods in agreement. And Nami, you keep them from starting fights, I tell her, and she nods as the two boys jump off, walking into town. Hey, Zoro, Luffy, wait up, she runs after them, leaving us behind. She went, Chopper whispers sadly. Well, she'll probably be okay since those two are with her. Usopp comforts the reindeer as Sanji walks over. What? If Nami's going, then I'm, Sanji says, about to jump over the railing, but they stop him, pushing him away. Don't you go, they shout. If you go, what'll happen if this ship is attacked, Usopp cries, and I shake my head at their antics. Please don't go, Chopper begs him, tearing up. Fine, let me go. Sanji gives in and turns towards me, though Robin made her escape before I could, but I decide to go anyway. Teleport, I mutter as I disappear from the ship. One Piece. Jaya arc, I pop up in an abandoned alleyway in the town and shake my hair out as it turns black as the night before, wiping my face as I feel it change. Demonic shapes HLK out of the alleyway, seeing people trying to fight the fire in one of the buildings, and I walk further into town towards the tattoo parlor, tying my hair up into a bun before placing my hat back on my head. One Piece. Jaya arc, I knock on the black wooden door, mindful of the glass. I look over the tiny little tattoo studio and how the building doesn't fit in with the rest of the town, with its dark, gritty look instead of the rest of the buildings. But it suits the owner just right as she walks over to the lock and deadbolt door. She stands behind the glass with a lit cigarette, looking me over. Sorry, we're closed, pretty girl. She spits, I flash my eyes red, and she grins back at me as she unlocks the door, allowing me inside the dark, stylish studio. One Piece. Jaya arc, sorry Gina, I couldn't let you know I was on my way. I wasn't sure if I was or not, and I couldn't come as myself, considering there are still people here who want me dead. I tell her as I sit in the chair. She pulls down the blinds, allowing me to change back as she sits on her stool, getting the tattoo needle and touching up my right shoulder tattoo. It's fine, I was surprised you changed your appearance so much, but I liked it, so staying long or only here for a few days? She asks. Not sure, we're trying to find a way to Sky Island. I tell her, and she giggles, clearly thinking I'm joking. I never picked you for someone who believed in that rubbish, she comments, and I look at her as she finishes up. It's real, both my parents went there along with their old crew. I tell her, and she stops, taking the old ink and replacing it. I see, are you sure it wasn't just a story they used to tell you? She asks, and I shake my head as she stands to her feet, about to do my star tattoos. No, I read it in my mother's journal when she was learning to be a chronicler on the ship. It mentioned Jaya before Skypia and all those omens. I tell her, and she stops finishing, and I pull out 3 pieces of paper with the tattoo ideas, and she looks them over. Nicely done, so where do you want this one? She asks, holding up the dreamcatcher I drew as I thought of my brother Ace, and I shift onto my front, having put my hair up into a bun this morning. Back of the neck, I want it big enough to see, I tell her, and I feel the needles prick on my skin. I groan as I stand from the chair, having my last tattoo finished, and walk over with Gina as she stands behind the counter. I pull out some cash, and she takes it, counting. Come now, Gina, I'd never swindle you. I joke as she puts the money in her safe box. Do I have to remind you that you stole me? From my ex-girlfriend? She points out, and I shrug my shoulders. Hey, she was A, who kept cheating on you. I was doing you a favor, I reply, and she shakes her head laughing. You did, anyway. I hope you find this Sky Island, she says, and I smile. Me too. She walks with me to the door, unlocking it for me. She pulls me into a friendly kiss on the lips as I change my appearance again. It was good seeing you again, Gina. You too, Dakota, good luck. She waves me off as she locks the doors again. One Piece. Jaya arc. I walk down the street, heading back for the ship, when I spot Robin coming out of one of the clothing shops, and I jog over to join her. Robin, that's not going to fit in our wardrobe. I point out, and she looks at me strangely but seems to notice my tattoos and finally sees that it's me. When you said you would go in disguise, I didn't realize it would be as a completely different person, she remarks as she looks at me from my black hair, porcelain skin, red lips and bright blue eyes almost like hers. What can I say, I'm a very wanted woman. I joke and take some of the bags as we walk towards our ship, hearing Nami shouting. One Piece. Jaya arc. We walk up to see Usopp on the floor pretending to be dead and Chopper in guard point. It's quite lively up there. Why are you so upset? Robin asks as we board the ship, and I change back. Oh, welcome back, Robin. Dakota, would you like to eat first, or shall I prepare your bath? Sanji asks us. Oh, Robin, Dakota, did you go somewhere? Luffy asks us. Yeah, I got some clothes and information about the Sky Island, Robin tells them. That's right, you, Robin, you too, Dakota. This all happened because you started talking about that Sky Island. Nami rages at us, and Chopper jumps overboard in fright. If it doesn't exist, I'll send you to a watery grave. Zoro jumps after Chopper as I place the bags on the floor. Ah, leave her alone for now, or rather, you'd better not get close to her. Just don't rock the boat. Usopp warns us, and Robin walks off but gives over a map to Luffy. Here, Captain. She says as she hands over the island's map. She shows me our way back. Oh, it's a treasure map, Luffy exclaims, and he unfolds the map getting a look. Isn't it just an ordinary map? Where is it? Usopp asks as he looks over Luffy's shoulder. It's this island, I answer them. The town drawn on the left is Monktown, where we are now. And you see an X on the other side, right? I heard that a man who doesn't blend in Jaya lives there, Robin tells them. Doesn't blend in? They ask. His name is Mont Blanc Cricket. A man who talked about dreams and was driven out of this town. You might have something in common to discuss. Robin tells them as she goes into the storage room to put her things in our room. Then, why don't we try going there? Luffy asks as he looks at the map. Hey, wait a sec, Luffy. I'm not sure if we should go now because, hey, Chopper, you saw it earlier, too, didn't you? Usopp asks, and I walk up to see Chopper on the floor, breathing heavily as Zoro has his shirt off, trying to rig out the water from his rescue of the devil fruit eater. What are you guys doing? I thought I was a goner. Chopper gasps as he lies immobilized by the seawater. Geez, you're such a pain, Zoro complains, and I walk over to them, wrapping my arms around his shoulders. But Nami was, he replies, and Nami hears him. What about me? You trying to say I'm some simple-minded idiot? Nami bites at him. What happened in town? I ask them, and Zoro shakes his head. Then I notice the minor cuts on his face. I cup his chin, turning him to face me, seeing the minor bruises. Who did this to you? His name was Bellamy and his crew. Nami answers, and I look over to see Luffy has a blaster on his cheek. Never heard of him, and why did you get into a fight with them? I ask, and Nami goes on a rampage as she explains how she asked them about Sky Island, which made them all laugh at her, and then Bellamy beat them up though they left Nami alone. Well, I must say, my dad would be very proud of you, Luffy, but I don't like the fact that they hurt you. But we're okay, really, sis, don't worry about it, Luffy assures me, and I nod, but if I run into him, he'll be a dead man in his crew. Hey, is that a new tattoo? Nami asks and points to her neck as I look over at her. Oh, yeah, I went to get my other ones touched up, and I thought, why not get some new ones, too? I tell her and show the others as Robin comes over. I got it for Ace since we saw him. I touch the tattoo, a dreamcatcher with yellow ink specks around it, Ace's favorite color. Hey, what about me? Luffy complains with a little whiny voice. This what, you're whining about? I ask and hold out my left arm, showing off the anchor with splashes of different shades of red around it, going with Luffy's favorite color. Cool, Luffy exclaims and runs his hand over the tattoo. Hey, he complains again. Come on, Anchor, don't be so whiny today. I joke as he pouts. Anchor? Usopp asks as he looks over the tattoo. It was the nickname my dad gave him when we were staying in the village. I thought it was funny, I reply with a smirk and show off the other tattoo on my right wrist. That's really sweet, Nami comments, and I smile as I run my fingers over the tattoo dedicated to my dad. It's D and me as a kid, with "Love you Dad" written above the image. Thanks, I thought about it for a while, and I thought it was time. I smile with nostalgia as we head off towards the other side of the island to find this cricket guy. One Piece. Jaya arc. We sail around the island, close enough to the shore to not sail away when we come across another ship that looks awfully familiar to the Masira pirates. Didn't take long for us to come across something weird, but it doesn't look like the same guys from before. Usopp. Luffy questions, and I walk down the steps. Well, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is another story, Sanji remarks. In any case, we did see them, right? Usopp asks the cowering reindeer behind him. Yeah. As we thought, that salvager is from this island. We saw his ship coming back, Chopper replies. I see, but I don't mind seeing him again, Luffy comments. Hey, you guys, quit mumbling over there, a voice shouts from the ship. Honestly, I got all worked up wondering who you guys were. That's quite a reckless face you got. What species are you? Luffy asks him, and I look over to see the crew all in diving suits with a man behind them in green. I'm human, you moron. He shouts back at him. You punks, don't you know Shoujo? He's the big boss of the Shoujo pirates and the king of underwater search. One of the monkey men shouts. Don't make our big boss angry, another one warns us. Now, looks like you're pirates. Did you know that Crocodile, one of the 7 warlords of the sea, was defeated? When you consider my abilities, that post may come to me. So I've been getting all worked up waiting to be contacted. He tells us, and I roll my eyes at him. I see, then you want to become one of the 7 warlords of the sea? Luffy asks him but is ignored. Well, in any case, the great part about me is that I haven't had my hair cut in all my 25 years of life. Now, aren't you surprised? Shoujo asks, and I look down at the hair around my waist. I have something in common with this weirdo and cringe a little inside. Sounds stupid, Luffy replies honestly. Whoa, I'm surprised, Shoujo exclaims. Hey, watch your mouth, his subordinates snap at us. Now, what you say really gets me all worked up. Listen, you will come out of the tunnel that is my anger, a sea of blood, he threatens us. Okay, whatever, but there's a place we want to go. So move aside, Luffy orders him. Idiot, this area is my turf, if you want to pass through, pay the toll, Shoujo yells. What's he mean by his turf? He's talking like Masira. Usopp remarks, and I nod in agreement. Huh? Did Masira say stuff like that? Luffy asks him. What? Masira? What about Masira? Shoujo asks, and I know Luffy's gonna answer honestly again, which will get us into trouble. We kicked him off our boat, but Luffy tries to answer, but Shoujo cuts him off in his anger. Kicked, Shoujo shouts in surprise. Big boss, his men shout in worry for their captain. Kicked? How dare you do that to my brother? This is revenge for Masira? Hey, hold on a sec. We kicked him, but he's still alive. Luffy tries to stop him, but it doesn't do anything as he gets a microphone. Sound waves, Havoc sonar. Shoujo shouts and breathes before yelling into the microphone, creating sound waves ripping up their ship. The ship is, Luffy gasps, and the sound carries towards us. So, what are they doing? Sanji asks calmly as he lights his cigarette. Big boss. His subordinates cry out. Who knows, but it's amazing. Luffy comments, and I cover my ears as it starts getting louder. If you use that technique on the ship, his men cry out. He's destroying their ship with his voice, Luffy points out. Oh, no, he's blinded by anger, the men cry out. Now, everyone, stop gawking and let's get through here while we can, Nami suggests, seeming to be back to normal. Okay, Sanji swoons at her. Hey, Nami's not a demon anymore. Luffy jokes, and I tap his shoulder. Hey, I'm the only demon here. I joke back. Really? Chopper asks as he rushes over with Usopp. Yeah, she should be calmer after letting off that much steam. Usopp points out, and he stops. I see the sound waves moving closer, trying to rip apart our ship. Hey, hold on. This isn't good. The waves made it to this ship. After all, the ship's starting to fall apart, particularly the repaired areas. The ship's body is worn out enough as it is. If we stay here, the ship will be torn apart. Usopp shouts, and the sound starts to increase, and I hold my hands over my ears as I cringe in pain as the others run around, trying to get us away. Full speed ahead, to someplace out of his voice's reach. Nami shouts, and we sail away from his screaming and heading for Cricket again, and I remove my hands from my ears to see a little blood from the intense screaming coming from that monkey man. Hey, you okay? Zoro asks me as he looks down at my hands, seeing the blood, and I nod, feeling the healing already start. I'm okay, really, I assure him as we come out into calm waters.